And we are live. Welcome back, everyone. Is your six covered? Today we have Pursuit of Accuracy, Mr. Josh. Welcome to the show.
I got to slide over.
Welcome to the show.
I'm being careful where I sit because I'm not sure if this is a podcast couch or a casting couch.
So tonight we're going to talk a lot about stuff. We're going to talk about Rimfire. We're going to talk about some Centerfire. We're going to talk about favorite gear, all sorts of cool stuff, matches that are coming up.
I'm shooting Centerfire this year.
I know.
Oh, you doing that?
Tuners. We're going to talk about tuners for some of you guys. I know there's quite a few people out there running tuners. I have one and one without. And I'm going to do some testing to see which one I officially really like the best. So everybody that's showing up, what do you call it? The announcements are coming out, so you guys will be figuring out that tell us how the mics are working, and the camera seems to be doing pretty good. We're looking up here just so you know. There's a large screen up here with our ugly ass faces on it.
I'm looking at that going, we really need some TikTok filters.
Do they make filters for this?
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody's enjoying their night. We got DW in first place. Mr. Treefeller 22 LR. Since we got Mr. Treefeller 22,
looky there. Finally,
July. I think it was July.
Yeah,
July 2022 when Treefeller came to visit me, and Josh finally got his license plate. So it has been. The Eagle has landed. The Eagle has landed.
And finally got it. I had to drive all the way to the mountains of North Carolina to steal it, but I got it.
That's right, because that's the only way you get stuff.
Yeah, and it better sound good because I'm looking at Rick's $1,000 mic setup. So if it doesn't sound good, then it's just not going to get better.
It's not going to get better.
It's not going to get better.
It's just the bad voices.
Yeah, it's just us. You're just hearing the raw voice.
We got Jimmy Graham says, glad to see you doing more live chats. And this is probably Treefeller. Yep, Treefeller.
Is he spamming us?
He's spamming us. At least it's not 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's see. Turn my ringer off. So we got Daniel got as my judge. Welcome to the show. Big country's in the house.
Oh,
I like saying big country for some reason. Get my teeth pulled by pliers or watch this. Yeah, I'd go with the teeth pulled, my man. Yeah. And DW, appreciate it. Jason Hunt's out there. EP26. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I think so. I gotta wait and see if any of my crowd shows up because I kind of told them that I was going to be on here, and I felt like
I think you paid for all your subscribers.
Yeah,
we're gonna see if we don't get any new subscribers tonight,
or if they all show up and they all speak broken English.
That's right. They're from. We got Lance Hawley, Jason Hunt, and Robin.
Hey, appreciate it.
That's one of your folks, isn't it? That's a new name. If not, welcome to the show.
Well, I said favorite channels. So.
I didn't even read that. Let's see. Glad to see some of my favorite channels together. They're probably talking about X-Ring that hasn't.
They're just reading his name. Yet. Ray. Sorry, I was watching Day at the Range Challenge.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Eli has put out a new challenge that
I haven't
seen accept it.
Is it video already done?
The video's out. It went. I think it went live this morning.
Oh, okay.
If not, I saw it, previewed it ahead of time, and it looks like a really good challenge. So five groups, but you do it in a Z pattern.
Yeah.
And then, so you have to keep coming back to the different targets.
Oh, so you're like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, and then you keep doing that, and then there's a scoring system.
So it's not
to
like 5, 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Correct.
1, 2. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a little different.
It's a lot of movement.
Yeah, and then it's on time, and it's also on groups.
Hey, you know what's not good for a lot of movement? 2 mechanical rests.
He's running backs. He's running backs.
I've been giving him crap about that.
We got Jeff Layton out there. Welcome to the show.
Who's that? Gorez 3, first time on live.
We got MXJ23.
Yep, familiar faces.
Yep, Gores. Okay, there's one. That's welcome to the show. First time on live. I appreciate it.
Let's see, there's one of my guys.
Of course, Kent. You just messaged us both.
What's up, Kent?
All right. Well, if you're watching this guy's channel.
Oh, so he's
Yes, what?
I brought this just because Jason made a big deal about me not want me to have Monster. So I may have to migrate to Rick's Sweet Tea at some point. But
yeah,
this is just for Jason.
This is nectar of the gods. No, unfortunately, I cut. Well, unfortunately. Fortunately, I'm down to slightly sweet because I'm trying not to have my legs cut off.
Well, I made a mistake. We went to dinner, and I drank sweet tea and a beer, and I've been drinking Monster like all day. So
You're all over the
there's
place.
Zero chance that I make it through this without having to go take a leak. Zero chance.
That happened to me last night.
Yeah.
I am like, you know what? I gotta go piss. It is what it is.
Next fan of all 3 channels should have listened to Josh when I was thinking about a BMR. Well, look, the best way to figure something out is to dive in, and a lot of times we all like to learn harder lessons. So
yeah,
none of us are good at just taking what people say and running with it.
No, and that's the thing. Well, especially being on YouTube and yourself, not all information that's put out on YouTube is correct.
No, yeah,
and sometimes things change. People's opinions change.
Oh yeah.
Or they thought this was the latest and greatest thing, and then they tried something else.
Yeah. I bet I could look back at my first videos and just pick them apart about things that I do differently now. And everything is from somebody's, and I think people miss that about YouTube. They watch a YouTube video and people get like really like nitpicky about it. You got to remember it's one person's opinion, and everybody does things differently. So you need to watch, if you're looking for a rifle or something, watch everybody shoot that same rifle and listen to 50% of what they do and just try and see what you might like or not.
Yeah, and I've been to enough matches where I see stuff that fails.
Yeah.
And stuff that keeps running and running and running. But you got to take the good with the bad. It's like, so it's at the end of the day, you're like, do I want mag issues?
Yeah.
Or do I want, do I want things that don't eject?
Yeah.
Or do I want things? I mean, I'm blasting them all.
Yeah.
Well, do I want my bolt to break? Do I want it? It just depends on.
They're all bad. It just depends.
They're pieces
what you
of
think,
machines that a human made that at some point, more than likely, is going to fail.
Well, I will say this. I would go ahead and say, from shooting rimfires, I think you probably would agree. Maybe not. Nobody has built the perfect rimfire competition gun. Like nobody yet. Now, the Voodoo mag thing, the new mag may or may not be the new ticket. I think the extractor style is better by practicality for matches, but I don't think the perfect rimfire exists yet. To include the Curtis, because the Curtis to me is just another, it might as well be, it's all the same basis.
I haven't even counted that one yet because I haven't shot one.
Yeah. I know a guy with one, but I haven't shot it.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. They said, hey, do you want to, not Curtis, but my gunsmith says, hey, do you want to build one of these? And I'm all, nope. I'm all, nope.
He's got one coming. You know who you are. You got one coming. You know who's sending it to you. So I'm excited to see what it'll do. I'm not a huge centerfire shooter. So for me, a switch lug design doesn't do anything because if I want to shoot a different rifle, I just grab a different rifle. It being, what we do, when you're filming and doing all these other things, it's quicker for me to grab another rifle than it is to change a barrel on a rifle.
See, and if you take that concept, because I shoot a lot of rimfire and quite a few centerfire matches, there's no way in hell I'm going to take all that shit apart so I can shoot Sunday for the rimfire.
Yeah.
So I would have to take, the base would be different because I shoot 50 MOA.
Yeah.
So that won't work with the centerfire.
Yeah.
So then I would have to get rid of that. I'd have to swap that out along with the barrel, re-zero, when I could just open up a case, grab my other rifle and be ready to shoot.
Well, that was my thing. Even if you didn't have to switch out the base, at the end of the day, like the room thing, I know that was a big thing. Well, it makes it more compact. If you really want to do that, all you need to do is put your barreled action for your rimfire in your case with your centerfire, and then just throw that in your chassis.
That would be easier.
It's definitely a thing for somebody, and people are going to enjoy that rifle. I think it's going to be a really good rifle just standalone because you can buy a Scout Action that's just rimfire and shoot it off the Scout Action, and it's actually a couple $100 cheaper if you buy like the Scout Action converge kit. By the time you barrel it, you come out a little money ahead on the Voodoo and Rimexes. The Scout Action's a little cheaper if you buy it as I think, and Kenny may know. He's probably priced on.
I don't know if he's out here yet.
Yeah, or if you guys have, but the Scout Action I think is like $200 cheaper than the Voodoo or the Rimex Action.
There's perks with all of them.
Yeah.
I will say.
I think
Jeff says, "What about Kenny rifle? His rifle's really good." No, I have 3. Do I have more? I have 3 Kenny built rifles, and they shoot amazing.
Matt. Your pal Matt.
My pal Matt's out there. Matt P. You guys are familiar with him? I guess he. Oh, I was gonna send him a link, but I ain't gonna send him a link.
Perfect Rimfire Savage Rascal.
See, and that's the thing is, so we're gonna go over favorite gear.
Yeah,
and we should include a rifle.
We are way polar opposite too. Like, so we like on gear. I guarantee you, we go. Let's go component by component.
Yeah, we'll do it.
And then we're like totally opposite.
I don't think we'll have one thing that'll match.
No,
maybe ammo.
But we can sit on the same casting couch and not kill each other too.
Oh yeah,
at the same
of course.
Time. Well, maybe I don't know. We haven't made it yet.
That's true. We ain't done
We're only like 10 minutes in.
That's right. Let's see here. Perfect Rimfire, Savage Rascal. Okay, tree feller. What up, Joaquin? Conservative sniper hunter. See, Kenny is on his way to building one. Yep. Doing good conservative. Okay, let's see here. So where's Ray going to sit? We're going to go like this.
We're going to hold him up.
And I'm going to change the camera. Oh, it's getting all fuzzy. I'm going to change the camera around.
Yeah.
And so it's wider angle. Let's see if he shows up. He said he was going to show up, but
yeah,
sometimes he gets busy.
He's a busy guy.
All right, so let's do some fun here. So let's talk about your YouTube channel. We'll intro you like no one's ever met you because you never promote my shit. but I always promote your shit.
I've shared your videos.
So, Mr. Josh, do you have a YouTube channel?
Nope. Yeah, I do. I make duck calls, and we have so much cross ground. I bet you there's nobody in my channel that doesn't know your channel. Your channel doesn't know my channel.
You have twice as many people as I do.
Yeah, but
there's people that in your channels that don't know my channel. Or maybe they skip right by it. They're like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot."
Yeah, but I mean, for those of you who may not know, I do just precision. So I'm like niche because I'm like just precision
you're
rimfire.
Stuck in a hole.
Yeah, I am gonna do Centerfire this year, and I do some air gun stuff, but it's very minimal. Everything's precision rimfire, so it's more like trying to focus on like fundamental aspects of it, and then gear, but kind of how it all relates to you as a shooter, and obviously the focus is PRS and NRL. Uh-oh. Is that Jason again?
No, that's extra.
Oh. But yeah, so it's super focused on rimfire, precision stuff, PRS, NRL style shooting. I'm starting to do some cheaper stuff. I get it. And I got kind of a little bit, I get carried away because you buy the crazy guns for competition. That's what you want to shoot all the time. But yeah. So, yeah, I'm about to break into Tika.
Well, and that's the reason why my channel's, it is what it is. Because I'm not.
Yeah, you're shooting like high-end, high-dollar stuff.
You could go and buy all the newest economical rifles. Hooty-hoo.
Oh, wait.
And they shoot decent. The problem is I have one rifle that'll outshoot any of them, so I don't want to buy it. So
it's super hard. But I guess it does, like, I do come back every now and again and realize that we're shooting, the base rifle for optics you're looking at, like, they're a couple grand. I mean, they're $3,000 once you put them in a stock, and that's, and a lot of people aren't going to spend on a 22. So I'm trying to circle back and do, like, I did the Ruger American. I'm going to do a Savage. I don't know what it is. I just don't like Savage, but I'm going to try and shoot one and change my own mind. And then Tika, and just being rimfire, it's, at some point I got to bust out the Centerfire goodies, but.
Yeah, at some point you'll have to do that.
Yeah, this year, 223.
Oh, yeah?
It's going to be so.
223? Like, is it 2023?
No, it's like a 223 caliber.
Oh,
but it's so ridiculous.
223.
Because, yes. It's going to be, 223 for TAC class, but it's going to be a BAT TR action with a Bixen Andy TAC Sport Pro with probably a benchmark. So it's probably going to be like, and I'm going to catch a whole bunch of crap for it because I high-end, super crazy price rimfires. You do too. And now I'm going to have like a 223 of all things in TAC class with like just a stupid.
I got friends that shoot those in the.
Yeah, John's shooting it. I got a buddy. He's going to shoot 223, and I don't know what I'm doing. But I just want to do it because I want to see how far behind the curve I am. I think I can make a 23-pound 223 shoot like a rimfire, and I don't think I'm going to be at a severe disadvantage from TAC class shooters.
Hell, it's almost the same bullet flying down there.
Yeah,
I know. More ass behind
John just put his 223 together, and he may get mad at me for telling it. It's 27.1 pounds, and it's a 223. I mean, it's going to shoot like a rimfire. It's going to be ridiculous.
All right, so we got a couple questions out there. Buddy D says, what stock and chassis will you use on the Tika? Are you getting a Tika?
Yeah, I'm trying to buy the T1X. I'm going to shoot the factory stock, and then there's not many options. Like, I may get a GRS T3 something, but I may do the PDC custom. I really don't want to spend a bunch of money, though, on the Tika, like, because I get so much flack. Like, I want to see if I can make the Tika shoot by maybe just putting it in a laminate stock with pillars and keep it, like, kind of, like, I'm going to put an Arkin on it, so it's going to have an EP5. I'm going to try and do it and fit it in base class and, like, production class. And
see, and I think a lot of viewers would actually like that, because most people start off, and I did, in PRS NRL in that kind of production.
Yeah, you start with a Ruger Precision, right?
I did,
which I hate. I hate them.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Yeah. My issue with the Ruger Precision rifle is that what I feel like they did was basically they have a bunch of features, but what I think they did is like skimped out on every single one of those features. And so it entices people to get the rifle because it's like they hear good things about accuracy. It's affordable and has all these features, but what you end up with is something that has like a ton of features, but it doesn't do any of them very well.
Well, it's kind of set up where it can do a lot. So you can be a young kid.
Yeah.
And the way the stock folds in.
Yeah.
You can really grow into that thing. Yeah. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Nice.
And then, it's got a nice handguard on it.
Yeah.
The bolt. So when it comes to that kind of stuff and what you're not paying for, is that the right way to say that? The reason why it doesn't cost that much is you can tell in the machining of it.
Oh, yeah.
And the bolt.
And some of the stupid stuff they do,
super
like
smooth.
Remove a pin and get a 3-inch bolt. That still does not feel like a centerfire action. It's totally pointless. Yeah.
And if you go back far enough, the case will get stuck back there. So I was like, oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, it's just like a dumb idea.
What up, Crowderman? What's up, Greg?
Alive.
Greg Turner. See who else out here. DW says the bump stocks are legal again.
Oh. What is that?
That's Knuckle Nuts.
Oh, he's talking on the phone.
He's
about to send some 300 blackout out of the window.
Let's see.
Here.
We got Tim Rink. Yeah, it's right there. Let's see. What's up, Tim Rink?
No ninja. Yeah, don't worry. He's close. We can sense him.
I can sense him, yeah.
The lights just dimmed a little, so we know he's about to come in.
Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up if you guys got any questions.
Yeah.
So you got your channel. It's doing good. You're mostly right now doing Rimfire.
Mm-hmm.
What's coming up for 2023? You said some Centerfire stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't really even know. I think I start out every year with more than I can do.
Yep.
So from what I can tell, I'll start with the easiest one. Air rifle, NRL 22 with the air rifle. April, there's a big match from Northeastern Air Guns. That's going to be in like New Hampshire, I think. That's in April. Then in June, July is RMAC in Utah. So that's a lot of air gun.
Air gun hard.
Well, the thing is, I'm just doing those
matches.
I'm shooting those, but those will be it. But then in Rimfire in April, I'm shooting the team match at VOD. Shortly after
Not
that,
air rifle though.
No, yeah, Rimfire,
okay.
and then I'll be shooting NRL 22 Nationals, Rimfire, and then the VOD series and the VOD finale, and then
team match.
Yeah, the team match, and then in Centerfire, I'm trying to go into Coleman's Creek and maybe Pig River and some of those places and shoot some TAC class, maybe like 3.
Those aren't too far away for you.
No, they're pretty close. So yeah, VOD is probably the furthest match in all of those.
Buddy's trying to choose between the MDT XRS and the KRB Bravo.
Oh, for the Tika? Yeah, the XRS is pretty good. The KRG Bravo is good, but you got to not mind polymer, Like it has
I don't like the feel.
Yeah, it has a internal chassis, so that's fine, but it has polymer. But it has a bunch of accessories, so I would say if you're going to for sure shoot competitively with it, MDT XRS, if it's something you want to not spend a lot of money and grow into something maybe, and it's just a fun gun, it's going to be much lighter and more upgradable, I think, as the KRG maybe.
Yeah.
They sell like a gazillion add-ons for that.
Gore's got a great, he says, got any suggestions as to what to do to get ready for the first ever match?
Oh, that's easy.
Gore's, I put a video out a while ago on, I think it was called PRS NRL Getting Started or something like that. That's got some good information if you don't have any equipment yet and you're kind of wondering what you won't need. But no, that's a good question. Let's get into that. So I guess the question is, what to do to get ready for your first ever match?
Yeah.
Definitely know the dope. Have that written down, whether it's on Straylock or Kestrel. Mm-hmm. Get your information, know what your bullet speed is. And that way, I don't know if you're running Mills or MOA, but know what that stuff's going to be. Make sure you get a dope card, have a bipod,
mm-hmm.
have the best ammo you can afford. What are some other things?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like dope, and then ammo helps, obviously, because your dope's going to be more consistent.
Oh, 50-yard zero, too.
Yeah, definitely know that and have your scope zeroed, set your zero stop so you can't do that. But I think probably the biggest thing is go with zero expectations of doing anything but not DQing the match.
Yep.
And you're going to have like a crap ton of fun, and don't buy a bunch of stuff in preparation because you're going to go there and everybody like us has everything. You can just try for free. Yeah. And then you can make a decision. Because I bought a bunch of crap. I no longer use any of it.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff I bought before because I'm the opposite. I would say that's my advice. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy everything because I want to play with it and stuff. And then ultimately 3 months later, I changed bags, plates, complete setup,
Correct.
Totally. Uh-oh.
Correct. I've switched. I've changed a lot of gear over the last few years. And let me zoom out so I can get all three of us.
We got a zoom-zy.
Ray's going to be on that corner.
Yeah, he separated us by the name.
You got to keep him separated.
He said we're like two stray cats. We'll fight, for he's got to sit.
Where's he got the cat? Oh, he's doing it off his fancy schmancy.
Yeah, he's set up.
What the hell?
He's got the mic, set up.
This
is like a podcast studio.
This is a podcast studio today.
Well, let me get comfortable.
Yeah.
Get your ass comfortable.
Kick your shoes on. Yeah.
The
I am actually.
Every time he comes in here, he takes his shoes off.
That's so you can smell my stinky feet.
Hey, perfect.
All right. So sorry for the distractions. Other things would be, like Josh said, don't buy a bunch of gear. Those people are gonna let you borrow their equipment, and you'll figure out what you like. Some people prefer this, and we're going to get into this later because we're going to talk about favorite gear, and a lot of it will be different. Some of the stuff will probably be the same between the three of us.
I think there's no one of the three of us that's going to say the same thing. Maybe on a few things, but I guarantee when we go from chassis to trigger.
Oh, yeah.
To
once we break it all down, it'll be different.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, have fun. Don't get DQ'd.
Have fun. Are we going to have fun?
That's right. That's an inside joke. I always say it on the video, and none of you guys have caught on except for him.
We're going to have fun.
We're going to have fun.
We're going to have fun.
Not to say that you haven't caught on, but he always gives me crap.
Be careful. Who's going to
ask
for royalties.
Who's Hootie?
The Three Stooges.
Hootie he always says, this is going to be a real fun video today. He reviews like every.
I don't even know who Hootie is.
Well,
Hootie.
He's too fancy for
you to know. He's too fancy for me. Yeah. He's a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
All right. So we plugged you to you.
No, we didn't need to plug him.
Whatever the hell.
Unnecessary.
Which is cool. Awesome. Other stuff for a match. Get ready for a match. We're not. We're answering a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're just going through.
Action's on the top right now before somebody enters something else in.
Yeah, it was like their first match suggestion. So we gave them dope, ammo, don't have expectations, have fun, try other people's gear. The typical stuff that none of us did.
Yeah, that's why you have a bucket of bags.
I'm going to tell you what you should. Well, I want to tell you what we did with Rick. If you didn't follow the channel, is if you go to your first match and you have not practiced any positional stuff, and it doesn't take a lot of ammunition to do it, just have some simple barricades where you can change positions and move around. Set whatever the standard is that they're shooting. Are they doing 90? Are they doing 2 minutes? Whatever, however many seconds.
Depends where you're at.
And just plan on doing 10 shots. You don't even have to have a target far, but have a couple of targets somewhere between 50 to maybe 100 yards. That's how we practiced, because you're going to get really discouraged on your very first match when you start timing out on every single stage and you're only getting 4 or 5 shots off. And if you're good with that, then that's not a problem. But if you're going in with the expectation, hey, I want to at least finish the match, then, time management. Move fast where you need to move fast, but you don't have to work the bolt crazy fast. Just be methodical.
All the top shooters, you'll just see they're all relaxed.
Yeah.
Well, Ray would probably know this more than anybody, because Ray's, if you watch any of the videos, like Ray's got mad pistol skills. Like out of those, at anybody I know, he's got mad pistol skills. But a big thing, like when I was attempting to be decent in USPSA, is learning how to separate from getting your ass in motion to get to the next shooting position, and then cutting that off and shooting how you need to shoot. See your sights.
Boom.
Yeah. And it's even in PRS, you see it. I do it really bad. I'll rush, and then you see me running the bolt like it owes me money, and it's just unnecessary because you're just creating this panic in your own self to hurry, and then you slam the bolt. You're still in hurry mode, and now how do you stop that all of a sudden to get on the trigger and make a proper trigger pull?
Yeah.
Kind of hard.
Another thing too, and we've seen it in the classes, because Rick's teaching classes with me now at Big Ivy. It seems like, and we've talked about this a million times, but it's just like something you really have to get in everyone's head. Number one of the best drills I think you can do is set you a par time of, not a generous target, but something you have to actually aim at, and stand, 5 feet behind a barricade, go
10 seconds,
do 11 seconds to start, and then slowly start working on that, because if you don't do that, you're going to have your scope powered up too high. You're not going to find your target. When you go to an actual match, you're going to spend 15 seconds before you pull the first shot, and that's what you got to get away from.
And a lot of people have too much power in their scopes, and they cannot find the target. That would be what I was doing at my the PRC Hornady match. Not only have I never shot past 700 yards, and I needed to shoot up to 1398. I was so ill prepared for that. I went in, I basically jumped into the ocean of death and enjoyed the heck out of it, and came out of that really wanting to become a better shooter.
My Wi-Fi off. Somebody said it just froze up.
I can turn mine off too, I guess. Mine's on. But like Ray was saying, it's just practice and putting in the hours of shooting, So
Yeah, the guys you see podium usually have, that put the time in. They're not like wizards of anything, and they weren't born with some miraculous ability to do something, which is what a lot of times I'm guilty of this. I get into something like USPSA, and you see these high-level competitors shoot, and you just go, it's way easier to tell yourself, God, that guy's just a freaking, he's an android. That guy's a robot. He's not even human.
Yeah.
Because that makes it easier for me, because I don't want to tell myself the reality is that guy's worked hard to be where he's at now.
Correct.
And I'm not willing to put in the work. I just want to be magically as good as him. And it just doesn't happen for most of us.
No, and you see that, I see that more in 3-gun.
Yeah.
And you see these young kids, and they are like sprinting and shooting and jumping over stuff and shooting stuff all at the same time. And you're like, I don't even know how that's possible.
So here's another thing. Come up with a system that works for you. I know that sounds really basic, but when you get done with your stage, that's not the time to be watching everybody else and palling with your buddies. You need to go ahead and get your dope cards ready for the next stage that's coming up. If you're talking about, a rimfire match, get your mags loaded up. I can't tell you how many new shooters start shooting the next stage and they only had 4 rounds in their magazine or whatever.
And I see it a lot.
So have this checklist, this mental checklist. Get your mags prepped, get them loaded up. Get your dope card. Get a game plan on it, knowing exactly where those targets are. And then that's when you can use the time to use your spotting scope on the next stage, if it's close enough and you're not leaving the group, to where mentally you don't even have to look through that scope. You just know, all right, I'm going to engage this one twice, then this one, and it is a near to far instead of a far to near.
Yeah. And don't even just move on.
Are you gay? We are very happy.
Yeah,
We're happy.
We're real happy.
So happy.
That seems to happen a lot.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so-
the truth there.
So you guys might not know this, but Eagle Eye said grow thick skin, especially if your partner is a eggplant or whatever it is. So I'm going to go ahead and tell on us a little bit. At the last CD match, and Kenny and I get along great, but there was one stage, I think it was stage number 2 on the North Course. You would have thought we were the worst of enemies. It was raining.
Or Mary, probably.
No, I've never had an argument like this with my wife. All right. So it's raining, it's cold, it's windy, and anyway, things just went to pot on that stage after we had just cleaned the previous stage, and we were able to brush it off after about 24 hours or so. But it was good. But if you do shoot with someone long enough, especially like in a team match, tempers can flare.
Shibalseki, what's going on?
What's up, Shibalseki?
Treefeller brings up a great point. If you're shooting the stage earlier, that where you're basically running your turrets all the way around. I don't know what turret you have, but basically if you're going all the way around, and then you just go to 0 again, thinking you're ready for the next stage, you need to go all the way back to the
That's part
stop.
of-
Hopefully you got to stop.
That's a system thing. I bet
That's
if you
part of
sent a poll out to every shooter who actually really was invested in shooting in like rimfire or PRS rifle and asked them to break down where they lose match points, I bet you the number one thing would be stupid mental mistakes, because I've not zeroed my turrets and dropped 4 shots trying to wonder what's up with my gun. And I've dropped way more points, just mental mistakes of dumb stuff.
Well, nationals, I put in 0.3. It needed to be 2.3. 10 rounds at nationals, I missed.
But I bet
10 targets.
the better your process is, the less you do that.
If you look at any video of me shooting when I was shooting these rimfire matches, I never leave the stage without going to 0 on my turret.
Yeah,
It's one of those things in my head. That's your chance to just kind of decompress, stop, go back to 0. Now, ultimately, when I go back and I look at the next stage coming up, if possible, I'll dial my first dope in.
Yeah.
That way it's already set for the next. I think across the board, we probably all do that, whether you go back to 0 or not. But that was something that was ingrained in me from doing NRA high power back in the day before they allowed scopes. Because if you ever, we had some guys that would work on our rifles, and if you didn't have your irons dialed to 0, you had to pay $1 for every click. So you'll get broken of that habit very quickly. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, if
especially if you
you
do it a few times.
you think your mental game's pretty strong, take a youth shooter with you, and then you'll see how good or not good your mental game is, and how good your process is.
Or even a new shooter.
Or a junior shooter.
Or a junior,
like when I was doing Lavella.
Anybody where you have to coach them, because we went my daughter's first PRS match. We did it at Maxton. I dialed the next stages. I shot the course of fire. She was after me. I dialed both of ours to the next stage, and she zeroed the stage. And here I am. I'm feeling terrible because I made her 0 the stage.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't do everything at once.
There's a lot going on for one person that
it's hard.
trying to babysit for 2.
It is really tough to take a new shooter out if you're trying to be competitive. Now, if you are truly going there just to hang out, introduce them, then I think you almost need to tell yourself, I'm not here to try to finish in the top 5 or whatever, because it does take a lot of time and dedication to help that person. They're going to have a ton of questions, just like we all did. We all started there.
Robin, if you're going to be shooting PRS, NRL kind of stuff, 98% of the people, maybe even a hair more, let's just call it 98%, are going to be shooting IMRAD. So if you want to be able to communicate in the same language, then you're going to want to shoot what everybody else is shooting. If you're going to be shooting something different, maybe like bench rest, I think those guys are more MOA.
Yeah, eighth inch click. MOA
so I don't know about those guys because I don't shoot bench rest. But for PRS and Centerfire, Rimfire, or NRL style matches, it's a good 98% MRAD.
I'm going to agree on the fluted barrels. I don't know who had asked the question, but I don't run fluted barrels and I don't prefer them. Regardless of what you read, and I think we covered this maybe a year or so ago, and we discussed it because people say, oh, it cools the barrel faster because it gives you more surface area and this, that, and the other. It adds more rigidity. It looks pretty, but there's no advantage that I know of. And just like Kenny said, once that thing's been stress relieved, it causes the bore ID to increase. It's just better just to run a normal barrel, I think.
Well, because aren't you taking a perfectly good barrel and now you're making things happen that could turn it into a not good barrel?
And you could make it move one way or the other.
I guess you could make it
I think
better
all the
on
surface
accident.
area talk is just people justifying the fact that they wanted a cooler looking barrel.
Yeah.
Because that's
So,
all.
like, even when we're surface grinding, now this is going to go into knife talk, but like when you're taking a surface grinder and you are just removing literally thousands, or 10,000ths actually on a pass, you'll actually see this piece of metal. Now, you won't see it visually, but when you measure it out, it'll actually start bowing on the table. And so when you go to the other side, it'll start moving around. Well, the barrel's doing the same thing because you got to think metal for a knife, you're heat treating it, you're doing all of this stuff. When you get into metals and you start taking away stuff, other things can move.
We got Jamie from Manhole Customs. So
We were looking for you.
I know he ended up not coming. There was one by I ain't walking over there to turn up, but basically Tree Feller said, how about babysitting on Australian at Nationals?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
They even doing that. So those of you guys that shoot matches, there's like times to talk with people, and then there's times not to talk with people. Like if the person's maybe the up in two people, it's like they're trying to get their game plan. They're trying to make sure the dope's right. They're trying to make sure the temp's right. The wind's not changing. Like that's the worst time to talk to somebody. But after they shoot, unless they had a really bad
Which one I like to talk to you.
you're like, son of a yeah, you love talking.
Like, what happened?
Yeah, how'd that go? So yeah, those would be some times that it's tough.
So conservative sniper hunters asking about a Kestrel. Do any of you guys use the 4D?
No, but
No. Don't. I mean, like I said, we don't have an opinion because we don't use it.
I want to try it, but I have not used it. I just want to basically run this and run that, and see how it does.
I have a hard
There is
time
basically
with
it's
AB.
all with the black ballistics.
Yeah, the 4 Dobbs is just like something else.
Oh, you're saying you have enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you're bringing another dimension in.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there.
That's
Val wants to know why you're dressed so formal. This is Rick every day.
He's the host.
I'm the host.
He's the host of the show. He's got to be
host
better
of the
dressed.
most.
I've been dressed like this all day.
Yeah.
Yep, he has.
Let's see. Went to a gun show today. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both did.
Did you find a T1X?
No, I found lots of stuff that was overpriced, and
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
I had spending money on me too. I was hoping you'd snap
Well,
it.
you can give it to me.
No.
That's
Daniel, you have no idea.
where's Dan?
What did he
Daniel
say?
say? Oh,
Rick has gone country.
I got
He's been country. Didn't he listen to his last live?
I got drums.
Wait, right there, boy. Woo.
Look at
What's
this.
the next thing that you got? Troy? That's
This
what you need.
This is a 1994. I got married in this.
Don't age yourself.
I don't care. I'm old. Here, throw that back.
There we go. More my style.
There you go. Actually, I got one on right now. You can see it under my
Whoa, calm
thigh.
down. This is a family
Hey,
show,
now.
right?
Hey, now. Let's see.
Well, I don't know. It's definitely not a family show. Because
No,
look
it's
at the-
definitely all right. So we kind of
Yeah,
killed.
we got off.
We
All
killed
right.
that one.
Oh, this is gonna be a good
Yeah.
one.
Maybe this should be another like round.
Which one do you
table.
guys even think we're on?
I know what he's saying.
Tuners.
Tuners.
We're
Yeah.
not there yet.
Oh.
Oh well, y'all
We went over
deviated from
matches.
the.
Okay. All right. Tuners. Tuners.
Tuners.
Do you have any tuners?
I do own one tuner.
Mhm.
The last build that Kenny built for me, and it is one of the best shooting rifles that I have. I will say that. When it comes to 22 rimfire, that if I shoot any matches this year, that's the rifle I'll shoot. It does have a tuner. What I have found and what we knew before Litz and all this, I mean, you can go back to any of our other chats, is we were really, really apprehensive about getting on board with the tuners. And I've done a ton of testing. So has Rick. I assume you have as well, Josh. I know you have because we talked about it. They do make a difference. You can influence groups, but it's not repeatable. So what I found time and time and time again, let's just arbitrarily say we have 10 positions. Well, every time you change a position, let's just say it's big enough, it's going to do something. However, you can't say, well, out of that and this ammo, number 1 shot the best. Because what's going to happen is once you go up to 10 and you go back to 1, it's not going to be like it was before. I personally think, and what I've seen the best results is if you get to a position where, hey, it's good, lock it down, leave it alone. Don't do any more searching and just call it good. Loctite it and be done with
that shit.
Yeah. Squeeze some blue in there.
You actually did it with Manhole Customs.
Yeah, so Manhole Customs on there, we did it. I think it was a knockoff. I can't remember what the tuner was. We went out to the cornfield. We shot, I don't know how many freaking groups. We tried it on a bunch of different stuff, and it was his rifle, so he shot it. And there is differences. So yes. I'm going to say anytime I could take 12 metal washers to my barrel, and it's going to do something. Mm-hmm. I will say there was differences when we went. Now I'll tell you, like he was saying, when we went to go back to those numbers that we thought were the better ones to figure out which ones, at least with that designed tuner, I'm going to keep it broad and because every tuner is a little different for the most part. It does identically the same thing as it changes the harmonics of the barrel. But I would say some are better than others, but it wasn't repeatable. So we went back to, I don't remember what the hell the number was or whatever it was, but it was not the group after we shot another 10 rounds with it. So it wasn't the same. But when you have the ability to change the harmonics of your rifle, let's say it was last year when like Center X was tough to find, Ely you couldn't find anything, and then it was like kind of a scary situation for people that shot matches, right? They were trying to competitively shoot, that didn't buy big lots of ammo, and you had to buy stuff. Your rifle, you may not find one that has a sweet spot or something decent. Being able to tweak with it was an option. You at least had that option of trying to get a better group. So with that said, you can maybe turn good ammo into a little better ammo. Mm-hmm. You still got to have great ammo to make great groups. Yeah. But the thing that gets me on the thing, because I have both. I have Kenny built me 2 identical rifles. One has a tuner, one doesn't. In the back of my head, every time I shoot that thing, I'm thinking
subconsciously you will question if the shot error was you or the tuner.
That's it. That's exactly it. That is exactly. It's like, was that me or was that something? Was it because it got hot and changed something? So that's where I don't like to deal with the tuner. Yeah. I'm still shooting the tuner, but I'm going to go take them for groups again. See which one shoots the best, and I'm going to shoot that rifle.
Yeah. And then one other point before Josh, I think it also really depends on your barrel contour. These big, fat, heavy 1 1/4, 1.25 barrels. I mean, just think about it. Doing a little 30 seconds of a turn, is it really going to affect it that much? And what I've seen, because we initially tested this with a Savage, a little Mark IV, and we took an actual weight and actually locked it down on the barrel. It made a huge difference on it. But that's a pencil-thin barrel. Yeah. But when you're looking at these big honking barrels that are 22 and 24 inches and it's a truck axle,
125,
it does take a lot more rotations to even try to see if something's happening. But they do things for sure.
Now Matt P was in here earlier.
Yeah.
And he's new. He's new to a tuner. He just got a new rifle
and he's already second guessing.
And he's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, twist the thing. What's it going to hurt? He hasn't even messed with it yet. So
my perspective has always been that, like, I never really paid. I knew tuners were there in my mind. It was never like, oh, well, I need to put a tuner on that. Even if I have a threaded barrel, when I have a Ken build, like a Kenny build my barrels, I just don't thread it because I don't even want to do it. Because if you're shooting bench rest, sure, use a tuner. You can shoot siders all day. They give you 30 minutes to shoot, a very limited amount of shots. Tune to your heart's content, But for PRS, I think the game is not an accuracy game. It's a consistency game. And I'm not going to add another variable to my rifle that I feel like I can't really control and that's going to bug me, like to chase that next thing. If you got a gun that can shoot, sub him away. Like, you've already defeated every target at a PRS match ever. Like, don't worry about that. I'd rather have something consistently the same. And that was my thing with tuners. I found that I could dial in a really like tight node. It was like really, really good. But then the next day when the variables changed, it swung wildly. And then I went no tuner, and it was less dramatic of changes because the rimfires change day to day.
Yeah.
Temperature, but it was less dramatic without the tuner. So for me, it's just, you know, if you're shooting PRS, NRL, there's so many more things you could be doing with that ammo, so many more things you could do with that time and effort. That's going to add more points to your score at the end of the day, and they're not a tuner.
No, and I don't know. And people think that, I don't know if even people even think this, but they think they're going to go to a 0. They're going to a match, and they 0, and it's like, it's not shooting a great group. Oh, I'm just going to twist this a couple turns.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how those work. Like, you don't mess with that thing until you change ammo. At least in my mind.
Yeah.
So once you get it, and when you do move it, it's you tighten it down every time you go to the next, whether it's a hash mark, a number, a letter. And that way, when those are in there, that's what it's going to be.
That's the next thing. Oh, did I tighten that thing all the way? Oh, should I crank it down now? Oh, maybe I should just leave it where it's at. I mean, it's just this thing in the back, just unnecessary. It's like, you know, weight sorting, you know, high-end ammunition. You can do it, but, you know, that's not your problem. That's not why you're not podium, if that's what you're trying to make up for.
Hey, Josh, just so you know, we're following a list here, and you just happened to tune in right when we were getting into the tuners.
Just tune in.
Yeah, that's it.
Tune it in once.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
See you, redneck.
We're on the 4th one of a few things here.
We haven't even got to the spicy one yet. I mean, that was pretty spicy because tuners, but we're all pretty much on the same page.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was a question. Oh, Helping Man says, if the barrel shoots fine with the ammo you have matched up with it, why bother with the tuner? Well, sometimes, no, for sure. If everything is working good, leave it alone. I mean, that's kind of, it's when I think when you can't find ammo that's working well for your rifle, having the ability to tweak with it.
Several people have said it too, and it's something I probably have saying pretty much everybody says. You can tune a lot of things, but what you can't tune is SDs. So
that's it.
If you don't got solid SDs, you know, what's the point?
Yep.
Twist and barrel tuners is to tighten.
Well, I'm going to hit on this real quick before we go to the next one. Based on what he had just asked, though, he's like, why mess with it? Well, if you're having a custom rifle made, and, you know, you've already chosen it. Now, I can tell you most of mine, like on the 22s, they're not threaded. Yours aren't threaded probably.
Yeah.
Because we're not shooting factory barrels for the most part. And so you have to make a decision. Do I want a tuner or not? Because, you know, let's say if we're going to Kenny and say, look, you know, I want to throw this tuner on there. Now he's having to remove material, make sure it can fit. Because it's not just as easy as just throwing one on a half 28.
Yeah.
Not with the barrels that we're doing. And, you know, these guys request, you know, from Kenny all the time, hey, put this tuner on here. It's like, wait a minute. You're going to step down a 1 1/4 inch barrel down to a little tiny thread that's a half 28. Just think about what's going on there. It's like, I don't know if you want to do that. And that's not the way Kenny does it, because some of those, he can answer here on what some of the diameters are because he custom made ours, I think. They weren't factory ones.
Correct.
Yeah,
ours are different.
Yeah, ours are different. But, yeah, that's the reason. I mean, and eventually you will run out of that ammo that shoots well in 22 because you're not reloading for it. And so it does give you the option of maybe having a little bit of versatility to tune whatever ammo lot number you can get later.
Yeah.
True. All right. Should we move on to new gear? Let's start with you, Josh.
Uh-oh.
New gear for
new gear?
New gear. What are you running? We'll get into what you're running later. But like, is there anything new that you're interested in?
Well, I mean, I now am a Rimex owner.
Congratulations.
I don't know that that's the appropriate answer to that, but yeah, so I have a Rimex. I've had the Voodoos. They've been on the channel.
How many Voodoos have you had?
I've had 3 or 4. I have 2.
And why have, you still have 2?
I still have 2. I have a V22.
Okay.
Factory barreled action, and then I have a 360, the one I shoot all the time on the channel, and that was factory barreled, both ace barrels.
How long? How long is the barrel?
Oh, well, the V22 is a short spiral fluted. I bought it secondhand in Missouri. That was just what they had. And then mine is a 20-inch MTU contour Ace. But yeah, pretty typical. The same stuff you see. Really not running. I'm still running ACCs. I'm running the new Grab weights. I don't know if you mess with those.
Grab?
Yeah, Grabs makes weights now that are quote unquote tunable. They can have a steel, aluminum, or brass insert, and they're also stackable. So they have M-lock slots.
Where are these
built
going?
in.
They're just chassis weights.
Yeah, like M-lock weights. But you can stack them if you want to, which is cool, and add M-lock accessories. But yeah, for the most part, the Rimx is the new thing.
You can stack Legos too. But
and a Bix and Andy Tac Sport Pro. I've only had hits. I mean, I've shot a Trigger Tech, but I've only had hits, and now I'm shooting testing with
I've heard
Tac Sport Pro.
Great things with this.
It's kind of weird. I'm sure. I'm sure you and Ray probably shot a fair share of them as well. I'm kind of new to them. I don't want to make any opinions on it, as I've only pulled the trigger maybe 100 times, 200 times. So.
Is it single stage?
Single stage, yeah, single stage, and I've got it neck down pretty much as low as it goes.
All right, let's. What do you got new coming? What are you looking forward to this year? New gear wise.
Okay, new gear. I do have Falcor Defense is actually building me up a PRS rifle to basically review on the channel. I think we're all scheduled.
That's a Centerfire.
Like, are we talking just Rimfire, or is it
No.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm just
it's Centerfire
helping people out that may not know.
Okay, and so that's I was talking to Kenny, and I was like, in your opinion, I said, what are some of the best actions out there? And some names got thrown around. I'm not going to repeat them all. And I talked to another guy when I was at the Surefire event that's really, really big in long range shooting. He's like, man, you got to get your hands on a Falcor. Well, they put me in touch with Falcor. Falcor reached out to me, and so they're working on a build for me right now. Now, Kenny builds an unbelievable rifle. So pretty much all of my non-production rifles are built by Desert Precision Gun Works. I mean, every single last one of them are shooters. I think all three of us have Kenny rifles.
Yep.
Multiples.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just the level of attention and detail he does on his rifles is second to none. And I think no mark on Kenny here, but he can do that because he doesn't have a lot of other people working in the shop. It's him. So what I have seen in the past is typically when you have somebody that starts really, really good, as you grow, if you start handing out too much responsibility, unless you've instilled in them your level of being meticulous, because that's your name, you can see quality go down.
Yeah.
Sure. And so I'm hoping that never happens to Kenny, because he's definitely devoted to it, and he builds a hell of a rifle. But Falcor's got this one that they're building up, and I'm going to shoot that at the Accuracy International match, because I think all of us are going. Dick, you're going, I'm going, I think Kenny's going.
Yeah.
And so hopefully I'll have it by then, but I'm looking forward to that for this year. Is it going to do anything that Kenny's rifle won't do? Probably not, but it's just something new to try out. So I'm looking forward to trying that out.
That should actually be a fun match. So Accuracy International is running kind of a weird hybrid match.
Yeah, it's not a PRS.
It's not sniper match. It's not a PRS match.
It's everything.
It's got a lot of everything in it. So I was telling Ray, I'm like, man, we need to sign up for this just to check it out and see how much different it is. And because we both shoot sniper team match kind of stuff and then PRS stuff. So it's like, what kind of crazy stuff we gonna do, So it'd be kind of fun. It'd be kind of fun.
Well, what's new with you? You didn't tell us what's new.
New gear. New gear wise, I'm just waiting on a CZ Scorpion to show up.
It's in jail.
It's in jail. It's got two stamps and like 4 other suppressors I'm waiting on. So I'm kind of waiting to put mufflers on everything per se.
Yeah.
But no, just looking forward to it. I'm not going to shoot as many matches this year.
Me either.
As last year. Too many. It burnt me out, and it was unenjoyable. The last few matches I went to, I didn't even want to be there.
It goes back to what I've always said. It doesn't matter what it is, and regardless of how dirty your minds are, guys and girls that are watching, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything gets old if you overdo it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so like for us, basically being sponsored by Microtech and these other companies and whatnot, they're paying our entry fees. I hate to say it, but it's fact of the matter. you have an obligation to go to these matches. We have an obligation to go to the Microtech Pro-Am.
Yeah.
We have an obligation to go to Memorial 3-Gun. And it always kind of happens around that fall time. And so for 2 months, you're not home. Like every weekend, you're traveling. And I'm not, look, I don't no pity party here, but it takes the fun out of it.
Yep.
Literally. Yeah. I want to have fun. It's not fun anymore. It's, and you can still do well. And if you win a trophy, great. But you're like, crap, I got to pack up everything and I got to head back out or hop on a plane next week. And it gets a little old. So I'm going to be very selective, just like you said.
Yeah.
This year, I'm going to do less matches for sure. I'm going to try to concentrate more on YouTube. I think all of us have kind of like made that commitment in the camera gear, the sound equipment, all this other stuff, and stick with it. I got disgruntled with YouTube there for a little while and kind of got away from it, but I want to stick with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the reason I said I'll dive in again and see. So that's the reason why I don't know what your guys' screen looks like wherever you're watching from, but put a lot of money into better video quality and sound. So hopefully it's coming and portraying on your side of the screen as well.
Jay Bird asked about lot testing on the CZ22. I would assume it's the CZ-MTR. I do want to give a big shout out to Area 419. I know those guys, and Craig's always been super. They watched the video. I didn't even give them a plug or anything like that. And they sent me the CZ Bolt Mob, the CZ457 mount, because that one was for a 455. Sent me a rail, and I just installed that, but that is going to be a production rifle. Whether or not I ever shoot production this year in PRS Rimfire, it'll give me that option, that $1,500 or less price point. Arkin actually sent a scope. And, you guys are going to say, Arkin, there's a class that we taught where a guy showed up with just the wrong scope. It just wasn't going to work because we shoot out to 1,000. And this is going to answer the one guy's questions about Daniel Defense. I still have mine, the Delta 5 Pro, but that class we taught, I think 6 rifles out of like 8 students were Delta 5s. And that's a great rifle. It really is. I'm not going to sell mine. It's a great production rifle. The action is a little, if you work it wrong, you can lock it up.
It's funny. They had so much fun because they went to the first class. They wanted another class.
Yeah.
It was the same people.
They've already booked out again for March.
It was the same people.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's a bunch of different rifles.
All new scopes, all new rifles.
We're like,
yeah.
All right.
So to answer your question, we actually took that Arkin out of the box because Arkin had sent that to me.
Yep.
And he used that the entire day. And I had already ran tracking tests on it, but it tracks fine. He had no problem hitting targets out to 1,000. And I said, you know what? That'll make the money point for that CZ-MTR. Mm-hmm. I still haven't decided. You've already done this. You've already put a rail on your MTR at one point or have.
Oh, my MTR, yeah.
Oh, you don't.
There's a lot under the hood of that.
Yeah, I just don't know if I want to do that.
It's such a beautiful rifle.
Yeah, you would cry.
That's why I bought it.
I remember seeing your rifle for the first time.
That's why I have the rifle that I bought. I saw you.
I was all. That is a sexy looking wood stock.
When you get mine up close, it's been used for PRS. Yeah. Not only does it have like the Arca rail, because I wanted to make it like legit, like I don't need, and I'm more like
you hit lead.
The gun is a tool, like it's a very good looking rifle. Yeah, so there's lead in the fore end. I put QD cups on it, which are very nice. They almost look factory. John helped me do it. They turned out great, but I stuck QD cups in the thing. It's got an Arca rail. The cheek riser is screwed into the stock. I mean, there's no coming back.
I didn't buy that for that. No, I had enough tools. So you could do that one into a tool.
Yeah, that was like my tool when I didn't have other tools. Like I bought the hammer, like the do-all hammer.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, this thing, like it doesn't frame very well and it doesn't do finish either way. So I was like, let's just throw crap on it and make it a framing hammer.
That's it.
But
Josh Power says the guy that won the PRS Central Region, Texas, Oklahoma, one with the production 457 MTR. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There's no reason. I mean, if people get bent out of shape about like that,
it's not going to be the rifle. It's the Indian.
Yeah.
Now the arrow can help, but there's only so much an arrow is going to do.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to leave that comment out. What I was going to say, but either way,
you ain't leaving anything out because it already happened. Yeah. Any newer comment? What's up, Joe?
Josh Powers, I know I was lucky. Literally, this is no lie. He knows exactly what I'm talking about because it's right around the corner here. It is a pet shop. It is a pet store.
Yeah, they sell dog food.
They
dog
sell
leashes.
Carhartt. They sell dog food.
Boots.
They sell.
It's like a.
It's not even a
It's a
hardware
country
store.
western story.
No, it's a dog store.
Well, yeah, a lot of dog stuff.
Yeah, and so I walked in, and they have this little tiny hole in the wall gun shop. And when I say hole in the wall, it's
a closet.
It's a closet. And I walk in, and there's like 4 people in there looking at an AR.
It's got.
And I have to go there like this, and I'm like, "Can I see that right there?" And she's like, "What, that one?" And she had to pull a stair step out, or a little step stool, just to reach the things. Are you sure you want this one? I said, "Yeah, I want to see that one." And so I look at it, and I'm like, 22 long rifle, I'll take it. And she goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." And the guys were like, "How much was that?" And I was like, "It's almost $800 because I got it for a good price."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Man, that's more than an AR." And I was like, you can't find these things anywhere.
Yeah.
But so I was lucky to get that.
And you're like, that's the last thing I
I was
need
like,
another
I'll take
AR.
Yeah.
It's more than they are. Well, unfortunately, they don't make 80% MTR CZ.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
True.
Manhole Customs. You got that right. Well, you know what?
That ain't the right one.
No, that's a different store.
No, different one, Dick. Let's see. Don't tell me this. I'm signed up for 10 online alerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found it at a feed store. That's exactly what it
Literally,
was.
it's
Josh.
a feed store.
It's a feed store.
You got alerts in the wrong places.
Oh, the Anshoot's got it.
Yeah.
The Netherlands. What's up, PP Peter? Yeah, DP Gunworks in Arizona.
I see him. He said, "Don't mess with it," and
Yeah.
I agree. Like,
Yeah.
Ray has a tool for every job, and for me, I'm actually like
You got that Swiss Army rifle. It'll do everything, right?
And I'm actually like I'm really happy to have that. So I basically my dad got that rifle,
Yeah.
and I said, "Look, I got to trade you out. I got to have the stock back." So because for me, it's like nostalgia because I didn't know anything about precision rimfire. I never bet who was basically my best friend now, John Cole, and
Yep.
I never met you guys. I would have never been doing what I'm doing had it not been for that rifle. And the fact that it has the cheek rest and it's got a little stain that I know exactly what, the wood finish on it.
Mm-hmm.
I had carbon remover C4 drip down it when I was cleaning it. But I know every
Sure
little
you did.
thing, and it's mutilated, and it's not the best, looking rifle anymore. But for me, it's super nostalgic. So it's
That thing used to
I'm
shoot
happy to have
amazing
that.
groups.
Yeah,
Now, there's a
Just
rifle
freaking-
Kenny built me, a CZ, the 455.
I saw that.
That's the
And-
best shooting
Yeah.
gun I've shot.
Whenever we get the chassis from MPA, that's actually what is going to be more of a open CZ, of course.
Yeah.
But I did want the MTR just because of that chassis and because I have the, those Anschutz, not Anschutz. Yeah, the Anschutz rifles that I have pretty much the same type of stippling on the stock. And, I would never shoot one of those in our matches, but I just had to have it. It just looked great.
Eagle Eye says, "You're the Asian kid on the Goonies."
That's me. He always reminds me of the same kid. It's like, Dr. Jones.
You cover Dr. Jones now.
Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, a lot of CZ fans too. When you started your YouTube channel and you were hitting the CZ stuff
yeah.
hard,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
it's
I'm like,
still
he's
the
gonna
same-
do really well.
It's
I'm
still
like,
the same
I'm just
core
not gonna
belief.
do that shit.
I have the same belief from that I started with. And it was just because I looked around and did these things. And it was like that I felt like you could buy a CZ, that price point, and you could carry that as far as you wanted to. Now, why do we buy more expensive stuff? Well, same reason people buy 2011s, because all these little things add up and it makes the shooting experience better. But the CZ, I could hand Chris Simmons that 457 I had, and he would still dust me off in a match, even if I was shooting his gun. But I was trying to say, you don't have to do a bunch of crazy stuff.
As 3 content creators sitting here with our own channels, I will tell you,
Take care, Robin.
CZ owners, I don't even care if I'll say
They're a
this.
mafia.
It's like a mafia.
It's a
truly
cult,
is.
man.
Oh,
It's
you
a
don't
cult.
like a CZ?
I mean, you can have the rarest machine gun in the world, put it on your channel, and it might get a couple of, whatever views. You put a CZ, this is the latest, greatest 22 that just came out, or the CZ pistol, and it's just like, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is very, very cult-like.
And I like the CZ pistols, but if you ever take one apart, and I'm going to make a lot of friends here, I'm sure. But if you take a CZ apart, a CZ pistol, I'm not talking about your TSOs or anything like that, but
Unsubscribe.
most of your other ones, when you look at the machine work on the inside, it leaves some to be desired.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, I do want to share this, and someone told me this. I don't know if it was you, but somebody commented. The CZ Action MTR, when I got it, it was really rough. And a guy texted me or sent a comment. He said, look at the bottom side of the bolt, CZ's laser etching the logo and the serial number. So I took the bolt out and looked at it. Now, we do a lot with lasering, a whole lot. And I'm like, good gracious, that's not lasering. They hammered this thing. With the
it
laser.
raises it. Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, it's bad. And so I just took a little Dremel, polished it literally 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And all that was gone. I put it in there, smooth as butter.
Yeah.
So if you have a CZ, check that because it will definitely smooth up your action.
Yeah.
Whoever sent me that, thank you for that.
I use sandpaper.
Dave,
and
the
somebody
Rex is
said
easy,
on my
right?
video, they were like, Josh, why didn't you tell them about the sandpaper and the serial number? I was like, because I didn't want to put a video out that says like sandpaper off your serial number. Like, doesn't sound good.
You
in
can
a
still
YouTube.
see it.
Yeah, you can still see it. I just didn't want there to be any chance of like especially way YouTube is with gun stuff and me saying.
Yeah. However,
But
serial
you're right.
numbers on a bolt or serial numbers on something like that are going to be a little different. You can't remove all serial numbers. You're not supposed to modify any, actually. But and Day at the Range, I did get that email. I'm going to leave it at that.
I didn't get the email.
I got it. He's like, I got it.
I didn't get it. I'm going to leave it at that.
Conservative Sniper Hunter and Shoots won this year's PRS series.
Did
The finals.
Rimfire?
Rimfire.
Yes.
Did because it was wow.
And then we got to answer,
Shot
where'd that question go? It was by, what was Jamie? Not Jamie. It was a question about when you get a new rifle, do you wait to do load development or do you start right in the beginning? Or how many rounds?
Oh, that's that Brian Litz question. So basically what they're saying is if you get a new 6 Creedmoor and you already have ammo for the 6 Creedmoor rifle that you've been shooting and you get this brand new rifle, don't try to load for that until you get at least 200 rounds in it because, of course, it's going to speed up. All this is different. But they said the ammo that you're shooting, as long as, it doesn't have a custom chambering or something, you should just go ahead and shoot that, get your 200 rounds through it, then do the load development. And I've been hearing that a lot. Just like Kenny's saying, it's going to speed up 40 to 80 feet per second, around 100 rounds. You may have to bump up 0.2 of a grain, 0.2 less, or jump test.
Yeah. Let's see. You're absolutely right on the pistols, Ray. My Shadow 2
And TSO are a world apart, yeah.
For sure.
It's like it's that next level, but if you look at like their entry line of pistols, it's definitely rough on some of it, but they all shoot. They're great. I'm sure they test fire. I love CZs. I think they're great, but there is a big following with them. As far as the Baker wings and all that, I know there's a lot of people that run Baker wings. What I've tried to do is keep my chassis as simple as possible. I want them to be balanced based on the barrel and the chassis that it's in without having to run all these extra weights or anything like that. I've gotten away from that completely.
Plates.
Yeah, and he's talking plates. I know Kenny's running some Baker wings right now. I'm not running any of that. All I'm doing is straight chassis.
Yeah.
And then I'll put a gray ops if I need it.
I've run a plate. I've run on my Matrix. I run the full length where it widens it up. I can't remember what they're called. Basically Pro something. I did not like that for ports because sometimes we get into these ports that are really small, and if you got to shoot at an angle, there's not enough room. So the Baker plates, I have actually talked to Keith about these Baker plates, and the design is good because it stays far enough back where you don't have to really worry about it messing with the ports.
We're talking Baker wings?
Yeah, and it was for you. Plate or Baker wings? Plate.
I have 3 ACCs with 3 sets of Baker wings that I paid for all of them. So it's not even like a MDT like sponsor. Like I bought 3 sets of Baker, and they're not inexpensive. And only the 2 of those guns I shoot competitively, but I like them so much that I don't even pack a plate anymore.
Gotcha.
If you're not running if you're running an MPA, that's not even really a thing. So which I'll say I'll save it for the gear. We haven't got to the gear
we'll get
yet.
to the gear.
I'll shut up.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the gear next, I think. Yep.
check your teleprompter.
Check my teleprompter.
The Isyour6covered podcast.
Yeah, if you guys want to see the Isyour6covered teleprompter, check this out.
Yeah. Eat your heart out, Logan Paul.
Look at that. Take that.
You gotta say for the boys. That's what I've seen on the thing. Then everybody shows up.
Oh, for the boys?
For the boys.
All right. Let's see. Is it true the Centerfire start to shoot their best after 300 rounds?
Yeah, Kenny didn't like the
Baker.
Baker wings because he saw the prototype. The prototype that they had out was like a 3D printed polymer, and they never like updated him to tell him they were. So he asked me, I was like, I love them, and then he's like, yeah, but they're. I was like, no, man, they're like aluminum, and he got a set, and ever since then he's like, I really like those.
The one thing I like the idea of it, but I always run the plate in the same spot as where the wing is.
Uh-huh.
The problem is this: when you're running, say, a stage that's fast or whatever, and you're running, maybe you want to run an Armageddon, the little flat bag with the straps on it, so you can not have to worry about dealing with, like, say. Well, yeah, I use
you want to leave the bag
a certain bag because we'll get into the gear. I can just bounce around like this.
You can still do that.
So you can attach.
They don't block the Orca.
So you'd have to run a plate though.
I guess. How else are you running your bag?
I guess my question is, do you run your bag off of the wings?
You can, but if you were to use a backbone, the bag's still going to come up into the wings. I don't know.
It won't attach.
John, I mentioned that earlier.
I did. Looks like you said it
Go to the casino. He did say that at dinner.
Did. We were at dinner.
Say that.
I was like, what are y'all doing? They're like, we're going to do a live chat.
Yeah, he might leave. No.
We'll come back to that.
No, I'm not going to leave.
We won't bore them with all
We'll save you some money on that.
You want to get in the gear?
Yeah.
Should we? Let's break it down by like component.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Then we can like fight to the death over who's.
Oh, it don't matter.
I have a feeling we're going to be pretty
sure. Well, we need to break it down. Are we talking Centerfire or Rimfire? Because there's big differences.
Well, he's here, so we got to talk.
That's Rimfire.
No, we can talk with it like chassis, trigger, because we're basically all shooting Remington 700.
Yeah. Let's start off with triggers.
Ooh, hit. I mean, for now.
Who?
Hit. Timney hit for now because I don't have enough time with the tax workflow.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Trigger Tech.
Yeah.
Any certain one?
Yeah, Trigger Tech Diamond 2-stage. I'm a 2-stage guy. I'm going to stay a 2-stage guy. I know Matt's been playing around with that, and he just switched over to a single stage. I know that you're shooting a single stage, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is just back in the day. I just got used to 2 stages. I like the way they feel. I like to be able to get something on my finger before I hit that wall. I just like it. That's me.
Yeah, that's me too as well. A 2-stage for me.
Trigger Tech?
Trigger Tech Diamond, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're on every one of my competition rifles.
Yeah. And plus, I'm a dealer for them, and I have them on the website.
Yeah.
If I didn't believe in them, I wouldn't have them. And I don't sell a bunch of them. I really don't even tell people about them, but that probably is my favorite trigger.
Well, and the biggest thing before we move on is every one of these rifles that I shoot will all have the exact same shit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter for me. The answer is going to be the same for Centerfire or Rimfire.
Yeah.
Except for maybe like
my trigger choice is like dumb luck because I don't have a ton of rifle experience with that stuff. I bought the CZ. The trigger you could get for the CZ was a Scar or the Timney, and you couldn't get the Scar trigger, and I don't think you still can. They're still hard to get. I got the Timney, and then when I got a 700-pounder gun, I was like, well, I like the Timney. I put a Timney on it, and then it worked, and it never broke, and it felt good. So I just repeated that over and over and over and over and over. And it's, the trigger techs I've shot, they're really good.
This is a great question that Kenny posed. He said, went back to curve show. It really wasn't a question. It was a statement. I went from curve to flat, and I've been nothing but flat-face triggers. However, there's been a couple rifles that came with a curved trigger, or I had a trigger that I put in there, and I honestly think, for me, I tend to shoot better groups with a curved trigger. As much as I don't like to say that, because I like the feel of that, having that tangent point right on the tip of my finger, on the pad. But I do think the groups are tighter for me with the curved trigger, and it's got me thinking on whether I should go back. I'm just going to leave it alone. Right now, at this point in my life, I don't switch much.
All right, what part do you want to talk about next?
Well, I mean, let's go
just
chassis.
Pick something. Chassis. All right, chassis. Okay, tell us what you got.
No, you want me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's pretty obvious. ACC.
It's only obvious if these guys know who you are.
Well, they know.
None of these guys know who you are.
ACC. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, you know me.
You know me. ACC.
So I'm an MPA. I love MPA. So there is going to be a difference, I guess. Centerfire and Rimfire are different for me. It's the same chassis minus a few things. So the hybrid for the MPA hybrid, and then the BA comp for the Centerfire.
Because of
But
weight,
it's the same, yeah,
the rear weight bias. Is that what you're talking about?
for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got my first MPA chassis. It's kind of on loan from John. I don't hate it.
This is going to be a tough one for Ray because he shoots a lot of different chassis.
I know.
No,
you only get one.
No, I
The big
can't
one.
do that.
Oh, you can pick that. You can pick one.
And, you guys know I shoot for MPA, but at the same time, I have XLRs. I have the MDT ACC. I have these chassis, and honestly, and Rick can vouch for this, I'm the kind of guy that changes crap up last minute. So if I shoot a match,
all day long.
I might have just put this in this chassis 6 hours before or whatever, and I'm trying to shoot rounds before it gets dark so that I'll be ready in the morning. I do tend to like them all, with the MDT being my least favorite. That's it. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Actually,
MPA does kind of, that's what I have the most of,
yeah.
is the MPAs.
Yeah.
See, and I had an ACC, and I got rid of it.
See, and I think it comes down. I have and I may be a weirdo. I think the way that I shoot with my firing hand is different from a lot of people. So it's hard for me to say, like, yeah, you should get it. The one thing I've noticed after having been around a few MPAs, I think MDT does a little better job with the hardware. I think a lot of MPA
Really?
guys,
You can keep all the stainless screws in those chassis without them falling out?
I've never had a screw come out of one of my ACCs.
I've had every screw. You've had every screw.
Look,
And usually
so
when they
this
show
out.
up,
John
they're
shoots-
loose in the box.
When you get your, this is kind of sucks for MDT right now, but when you get an MDT chassis and ACC, and you just go on the end of the handguard, or basically,
Yeah.
You can twist
you
it.
can squeeze it, and it'll move, it'll flex.
Well, that's what they made it differently. I've never had a problem with it. But the reason I say it is John Cole, who
So I
shoots,
might have an old one.
John Cole shoots only MPAs for precision rifles,
Mhm.
and he loves MPAs.
That's how.
And even he will say, like, I wish the hardware was like the quality of the MDT hardware.
I don't. It's weird.
And I don't want to
think-
call out whose chassis it is, but I got an MPA chassis that came from another shooter, who's a local guy who we know. And when I got that thing, every nut bolt thing on that thing was like surface rusting.
Oh, yeah, that is
all
that
over
is-
the place.
that is actually a
Screws,
real-
set screws for the freaking cheek riser missing, like, and just weird things. So I would say that's what I'm saying. I think the hardware is the quality of the hardware is better. I'm not saying the chassis, but the chassis just fits me better, and I think it's going to be.
And he has
personal
some points on that because the screws will rust out. I don't know if it's a coating.
Not
they
rust
use.
out.
Not
It's
rust.
they
They,
just
just
get
get
surface
surface rust.
rusted.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so does every scope that you have. Your
Yeah.
screws.
Yeah,
If you shoot in the condition this we shoot,
Yeah,
because you're in the South and it's hot and it's humid and you touch anything, it rusts. Anything that's not a stainless screw is going to get surface rust.
Yeah.
And that falls on maintenance. Ricky Bobby's got a great question. He goes, I'm looking at a spur mount for NRL. What
yeah.
height do you guys run?
What an
Any
idea.
MOA or based on the rings? It depends on what you're doing.
We're gonna get to that.
Rimfire, Centerfire.
We're gonna get to that because it's gonna.
Is that going to be one of our topics?
Well, we got to talk about every part.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
base-
All right, Ray, pick a part.
6 rudders, they've always had a long lead time. Right now, all the chassis companies, regardless of who you're talking about, they've got long lead times, but XLR has been exceptionally long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew a guy. Well, I still know the guy, but he waited forever to get his XLR chassis.
Kenny. No ACC elite ends, rubbing salt in my wounds. That's all right. I'll get one.
So my MPA BA, it says it's hard to balance without a lot of weight. You should try it on the, what's that? The Matrix.
Oh God!
Yeah, you better have a lot of
So
weight for that.
I love MPA, and I love the Matrix chassis.
Now they've
and-
changed it.
I know, and they didn't change it enough.
Yep.
I told
Because
told
when you
the
got
owner.
it, when you got it,
I had to run 5.
Good luck.
It was 4.5 to 5 pounds plus all the shit I already had on it to get it to balance.
Yeah.
And that was with the regular ace barrel 20-inch. This is Rimfire. by
That's
the
the problem. You didn't have a long enough trick axle on it.
way. And I've talked to people that have, and they still have to run.
Yeah, I
with
know
it.
your last live. Yeah, they
Yeah,
still
I'm
have
like,
to have
yeah,
weights.
I'm
It's
like,
very
screw
rear
that.
heavy.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Joel M. Or Joe M. It doesn't matter if it's Manners, if it's, I think the worst in the industry right now would probably be Macmillan. You're going to be waiting over a year on a chassis. So if you ever pick up a prize off the prize table, you win a free chassis. If it's Macmillan, it's going to be over a year. So that's pretty much across the board now with all the manufacturers of chassis, other than this guy's saying foundation.
Since it's up there, conservative sniper hunter, your favorite weight, or what's your favorite weight? I'm right at 17 pounds.
The overall weight of the rifle.
Yeah.
Oh, 21.
This is for rimfire.
Yeah, I'm not running 21. I've tried to make everything a little simpler, just running a heavy barrel with the MPA chassis, and then I'm going to be 17-ish pounds, 17, 18.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just do scopes, and then we'll work our way to the base.
Oh, jeez.
We shouldn't even go here.
Why?
No, that's good.
Reticle. Okay, do reticle.
No, we can do scopes.
All right, well then shut up and answer.
Yes, I mean, yeah, track torque ELR.
Okay. I'm liking the Razor Gen 3, 6.5 to 36.
I'm not picking one.
He's not picking one. All right,
I can't pick one.
I know.
Okay, so guys, if you go with someone like Night Force, you go with Vortex, you go with Zeiss, like there's their S3.
He's running them all, guys.
You go with a Tangent Theta, you go with any of them. As long as you do your part to do a tall target test, make sure it's tracking well. It's going to come down to personal preference. I've been looking a lot at the ZCOs. I do like some of the reticles, with the open circles and everything. I had a chance to spend some time with one about a week or so ago again. And it's hard to find one to just say, because everybody's kind of really doing good reticles. All of them.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You got good glass on all of them. You got great tracking. Just go with a quality brand.
I would say I prefer, okay, let's do this. Let's break it down even more. I prefer having 2 tenths all the way down. This is obviously a mill.
Yeah, 2 tenths.
2 tenths. I don't like the half thing. So the 4.5 to 27, it had halves going down. Yeah. And it sucked for trying to do holdovers when everything was always at 3 years. Some 7
2 tenths is just nice to have.
So 2 tenths is something I would look for in a reticle.
I like center dot. That's like my. If it doesn't have a center dot, just get out of town. I just have come to like, and that's what I'm looking for. Personal preference, obviously. Yeah, I just have like a. I mean, if it was, I just like a center circle. Let's say it could be a dot, hole, filled, whatever. But I don't like a solid crosshair anymore. Now
it's got to be a floating dot.
Yeah, especially for the little targets.
That's a great question. Do you guys ever get your old stuff out and shoot it? Or are there guns you keep for a collection, conversation piece, or sentimental reasons? I shoot everything. If I don't shoot it, it's gone.
Yeah.
I got crap in the basement I haven't shot in who knows how many years.
Yeah. I have maybe one rifle, but it's the very first rifle I ever got, like in my life. And that's the only rifle I just hold on to because it means something. Everything else is something I shoot or same. It's pretty much gone if I'm not shooting it.
If I'm not doing YouTube videos, it's like the same 3 rifles.
Yeah.
So Abigail says Vortex 1 to 8, $500 local town and country. I would assume that's the Strike Eagle 1 to 8 Vortex. You're the Vortex guy.
Yeah, Vortex guy.
For $500, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, I would say that.
So Zeiss, Shaggy Rifleman, I think said, is Zeiss still in business? They had never done a first focal plane scope ever. They were always second focal. And they came out with the LRP S5, which was really expensive. It was about $3,600, I believe it was. And I got one of the first models, tested it, love it. It's a great scope. There's some things I don't like about it, which I put in the review. But they came out with the S3. Now, I ran the S3. Kenny's had a chance to run the S5. He's running S3. They did a really, really good job with that S3. And the reason I'm saying this is they did it at a price point that's mid-2000s. So I think it's $24.99. It checks all the boxes. It's a great scope. It is not made in Germany. It's made in the same facility like LOW where you're getting your Vortex, your Night Force, and all of that. And it's a good scope. So I would definitely check that out. It's actually one of the hottest scopes right now on the market.
Which one?
The Zeiss LRPS 3.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Kenny's actually putting those in a lot of the builds. People are requesting them.
Yeah, it's a great
price
rifle.
point, hard to beat.
I mean, a scope. Jay Bird says, "What scope is the best for the value?" And then we also got
That's kind of a
favorite reticle.
loaded question there.
Which one?
Well, what scope is best value for the money? I mean, you can roll that all the way up the scale to what's your money and find the best value in that money.
Yeah,
range.
it really depends on your pocketbook.
Yeah, they're all like Ray said, they're all really good.
I do want to answer this one question that Day at the Range has. Does Leopold not measure up anymore?
Mark
I want
Fox.
to get your opinion on that.
I have heard, so I don't have any real world
John's a big
experience.
Leopold guy. John Cole.
Yeah, well, and he shoots a lot of night forces. There are guys that I talk to quite a bit in the Rimfire community that are shooting the new Mark Vs, and they, for the money, said that they're killer. But like I said, I don't have the experience, but those guys who are shooting just the Mark V is the only thing I've heard about. Said that they really enjoy the reticle that they have, and the overall optic is excellent. But I don't have real world experience.
So I have 2 of the Mark V HDs, won them at matches, and they're lighter than most of the other scopes. Everything's lighter than a Vortex.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's lighter. The shape of it with the objective, basically how it's getting to the objective, it's a slimmer profile. So it does have some things going for it. There's some things I don't like about those. And let's be clear about this. I had a lot of issues with Leupold prior to the Mark V HD. So when they had their Mark 6 and their Mark 8, which was their premier line, all of those scopes went back for me for reticle shift. And no, the reticle's not, it's not shifting on the glass. What's happening is when you adjust the power ring, when you get towards the max, it would just shift. And I actually showed a Leupold rep. I said, look, I want you to check this out. And he's like, oh, I've never seen that before. I said, yeah, it's good because I got 3 scopes that are doing this. So I kind of backed away from Leupold, but I haven't had any issues with the Mark V HD. I do see a lot of people shooting them in the classes. And then I do have 2 of them. One thing that really irritates me is, when they put the witness marks so that you can dial your, a 10th up or a 10th down. What engineer thought it was a good idea to put it up here at the 3/4 mark? So now I'm going to have a chance of getting parallax error. I want it right here in the center. And they put this big triangle, and you're looking at it at an angle. So it's almost like you're trying to figure out if you're actually on 0 or not. That drives me nuts about it. But otherwise,
that just means they can be close.
Why do that? Why? No, and Joe Lim says, tell Morgan King Leupold doesn't measure up anymore. Like I said, I didn't say there's anything wrong with the scope, but I know that they've had some issues with the previous lines, or at least the ones that I've had. Now, I do know they have a lifetime warranty. You've got a U.S. company. And like I said, it's the shooter. It's all the scopes are so good now. It's almost like you can't get a bad one. Actually, you can. I know somebody that can get a lot of bad ones. I'll leave that out. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Well, I'm not going to even say it then.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Do we want to move to the next?
Last year, well, who was the good shooter?
God.
Yeah. It always broke on them.
Yeah.
Like it seized up, the radio wouldn't move.
That's one scope where people ask me, and I'm like, no.
Nope, stay away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's little fish in the optic.
Yeah. When
Little swimmers running around.
Yeah.
When you could save water
And
for
it
later.
used to be a really, really good scope.
Yeah. That's unfortunate for sure. You want to do base?
Yeah, do whatever.
Base? Well, I mean.
Yeah, let's do the scope mounted base.
Okay.
First off, how many MOAs are you on a Rimfire?
50 combined. Either in the base and the rail.
Me
or,
too.
Yeah, 50 combined.
40s. I have one
That's
that's
fine,
a 40 and a 50. And then I think Ray's a
40. I think 50 is working too high out of the scope, depending on the scope.
Yeah, definitely.
And that can, depending on the scope.
You're going to spend a lot of time shooting at like certain parts of that scope. It can hurt you to go to the extremes for sure.
It does. And I notice it. And look, I'm not that old, but when I start working too high out of the scope, I can see it instantly.
Yeah.
When he went to 50 from 40, I was like, man, is there something wrong with the scope? And I realized it's because he's working so high out of it.
Yeah, he's in a very end. And I've noticed that too. And I purposely set mine up And so I live with that because when I shoot at 50, there are some combinations where I'm like, it just looks weird because you're at the very
You're at the edge.
There's nothing wrong with the scope. You just can't expect you're at full magnification shooting groups at 50 yards.
Well, you're trying to, and people are going, why would you put that much in there? You're trying to. So I've only been to 2 matches where we had a target at 500, maybe 3.
John Cole usually is the one.
And where the benefit of that is you basically dial it all the way in or out, and then you still got a holdover in the reticle.
Yeah.
But if it's only like 1 or 2, it sure makes it better than 10 plus 3 rotations.
Yeah, 40 I think is a good sweet spot. If I could go back now and replace everything I had, I think 40 would be good. But I run the, and I'm at a loss here. We were just talking about them, the $400 scope mount. Spur.
Yeah.
So I run a Spur, a 1.34, 1.35 with 30 MOA. I think it's basically the lowest setup I can get. And I got that because when I was shooting the CZ, because when you put that that adapter on, it gets taller. I could get away with a 1.5 very easily on the 700 platform stuff, but the CZ is not really going to tolerate it very well.
See, and when you run 50, you're basically canting it even more. So you got to either have maybe a pad on your cheek piece or run a thing. So you got to make sure your stock can do that. And I've had to modify some of my stuff in order to capture enough cheek weld, and I use a pad by a Weebad, but that's one of the reasons.
Joe, spill it.
No
way, Joe. No way. They want to know what we were talking about. Yeah.
Oh no, can't. We could. I mean,
I'll tell you later, Joe. I'll shoot you a text.
But yeah, I'm the same way. 50, and I run a spur mount. Reasons why I run a spur mount, and I run stuff different than like say Ray's. I run basically kind of an AR style scope. I run the cantilevers.
Yeah, I got you.
And the reason why I do that is I line up my scope so I can actually take off. I can run a wrench straight down into my MPA chassis, and I can take off the whole back.
I got you. Okay.
Instead of it being in the way.
Yeah.
And it works out, balances where I like it and my eye release right. So
I'm going to call out the scope because that's what I do.
Do it.
Yeah, it's fact. So it wasn't my personal scope, and I've had the scope before in the past. And
just do this.
Back when they were in California, it was a great scope. I had quite a bunch of them with the Eric knobs and all that. And then I got away from them. That's been bought out. I think Zero Delta, it's all US optics now. But I would just be a little wary with that one. Man, maybe he just had a stroke of bad luck. I don't know, but I've seen a lot of those fail. You know, it's what it is. I said US optics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. Yeah. And I've seen him have, let's see, it was 2 or 3 matches where he was doing really, really,
like winning
really
the match.
Good.
Yeah, and then tanked because of it. Yeah.
And then he basically saw fish in his scope reticle because it was every time it was rain. In North Carolina, I don't know if you guys ever been here, it rains a lot. And it doesn't matter where he's at in the match. I don't think we ever said the guy's name, do we?
No.
It freaking rains. So we're always shooting in the rain.
Yeah.
And these scopes would just somehow get in there. And it would go to crap. So unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're on you now. Scope mounts.
I probably have more spurs than anything else. But I do have a selection of rings for certain rifles like the CZ. I didn't set it up with a spur. It's going to be too high.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but it had been impossible to get spur stuff. Spur stuff, they're redesigned everything. A lot of the 34 millimeters, they've changed it to a 4-screw instead of the 6-screw.
And what's that stupid thing they got on there?
That's what I'm talking about. That's supposed to be a reinforcement plate for a 45. So there's a whole new line of spur stuff coming out right now. But spur is my favorite because of the versatility of being able to attach data cards and LRA levels. It just keeps everything compact, and you're going to be pushed for real estate on whether it's a bolt gun, rimfire, or centerfire, and you want to have the stuff on here. I just want it to be organized, and Spur does the best job of that. Now, that being said, I do have some MPA mounts. MPA makes a good scope mount.
Yeah.
I like them. However, if you're going to put all about the truth.
Accessories.
If you're going to put it out and give me the option of being able to put a Picatinny on it to do it or configure it like a spur, then you should have that on your website. What Picatinny bolts up into that bolt pattern? Be able to provide me with those, because it does me no good to have this scope mount. It'd be like spurs, but not being able to get the accessory plates for them. It's one of my biggest pet peeves with manufacturers. And I even called this out on a recent video when we were looking at some SIG stuff. SIG has gotten better, but a few years ago, they had all these great designs, but you couldn't get any of the accessories that went with them. Okay, well, this is all modular. Oh, you can get this barrel. Well, no, it's never in stock, and you haven't produced it.
I remember you did that.
And that was the MCX. That was supposed to be multi-caliber, and all you do 300 blackout 223. One of the things that we really, really stressed, and we did this with our R2K9 with the suppressors, we will not go to market with it until we have every single available piston, being a half 28, half 32, half 36, 13.5 by 1 left-handed thread. It needs to be in stock, because there's nothing worse than buying a higher end product and not being able to get the support pieces for it. That pisses me off.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I honestly
just wait and do the project.
Release it. Yeah.
Yep. Did your battery just die?
No, not yet.
What about it?
I'm just saying, it looks like it's about ready to die.
Now, this battery lasts like 8 hours. You'll be good.
I have like one spur, but it's been like a thing of buying everything else, and I really liked them. But I found those guys F3R because I was looking for another mount.
I have a lot of those. So does Rim.
Yeah. Those have worked out well for me. The MDT, the MPA mounts, all good. But yeah, the spur, I think if you just got to pick like a, what's the best of the best, man, that spur is just so
I don't like
nice.
the quick detach, Ricky Bobby.
I have broken 2 spurs, by the way. They were covered under warranty. Yeah. The crossbar, the tensioner plate, and we always use torque wrenches. They actually fractured. And what I noticed was on the sniper side, it was just a bad run of material. So that can happen to anybody, but everything can fail. But yeah, we had two crack on us all the way across, and then the scopes came off.
Joe Bender, we won't have any knife stuff you can buy at Microtech or at SHOT Show.
You're not allowed to sell at SHOT Show.
Yeah, it'll give people a chance to put their hands on every model we have.
Yes, Joe. I will actually be carrying a new release that everyone's going to be excited about. I cannot talk about it. I had it in my hand day before yesterday, and it's going to be really, really nice. Looking forward to that. We will have some examples, but no, you can't sell a shot. Matter of fact, you'll lose your spot if you sell it.
LZ, a plumb bob hanging from a thing and a regular level, and a flashlight. That's all you need.
Well, I think they're talking about like as far as LRA sendits and stuff like that.
Scope.
I run LRA sendits.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant a scope level. Yeah. My brain was in a different form.
And Jeff, if you look, I mean, they're not B14R mags, but L3I carries B14R specific mags. I have 1 or 2 that I've ran on them, and they run fine. I mean, they're polymer or 3D printed, if you don't mind that. The Bergar mags, injection molded, which I think is better than 3D printing, but the L3I seems to make a good mag.
Track question for you.
Well, Ricky Bobby, that's a great question, and this is going to get a lot of people stirred up. Maybe not. I have a lot of scope mounts, a ton, and I have 0 quick detach. I don't like them. I don't run them. I don't need to move stuff back and forth. Everything I have is a positive screw.
We change scopes non-stop for videos.
Yeah.
And we still don't have it. I actually have one because I won one on a prize table, but I don't use it. But no, everything's.
I won one and gave it away.
Yeah,
on the channel. I don't do quick release.
Yeah. So there's your answer.
I need Ray's info to answer this because I can't answer it, but
the track scope.
The track scope's better than a Zeiss. But what price point can you get a Zeiss?
$24.99 for the S3.
So I would doubt that the track's as good or better than the Zeiss because the track is their top flagship scope is $1,600. I mean, it's not going to be better than a $2,400. I do believe and openly say I think the track scope that sells for $1,600 could sell easily for $1,900. There's scopes in that price range, and there's not a lot because you usually get bumped up to $23. But the scopes that live in that 2,000 or sub 2,000, I haven't seen anything that's, from my experience, that's been better. But no, it's not going to be better than an $800 more expensive
That
scope.
would probably be in line, and I don't know, to like the Burris XTR3 the Pro.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's probably going to be.
Do they
that
sell around
same-
them? And I've never looked through them either. The Bird 16.
Yeah, I have a couple of them at the house. They're actually, Kenny's got a couple as well.
Yeah.
That's actually a good optic for the money. I think you can get it for around $1,800.
Oh, really?
And it's Japanese glass. They're manufactured in Greeley, Colorado. And they have some great reticle choices. So, you know, some people don't want to break that 2,000 mark. And I think this fills that void.
Yeah, and there, Kenny was saying, he's told me that before, he'd be willing to send me the S3 to compare, which I told him, you know, I would love to look at it, but I don't want to put him out of a scope either, just to let me compare it. I mean,
I think Kenny's a dealer now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're a dealer, send me one. I'll send it back, you know, not to keep, but I'd like to look through one. Especially $2,400. That's a unique kind of, like, I think that's a really good price point. A lot of good, really good stuff going on.
Yeah.
In there. I don't know. Did you look at the Theos yet?
No.
Oh, that's going to work.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. So I think the deal there is I looked at it at RMAC, and it's, if you pick it up, it feels a lot like an ATAC or ATACer. I call them ATACers. But I don't know knife forces. I wouldn't know how to say it anyway. But to me, from looking at John's and other pieces, like it looks and it feels, and the glass, everything looks and feels a lot like an ATACer. But I think they're trying to come out with an ATACer like quality scope and sell it at like an NX8 price point.
Got it.
It'll be at SHOT Show. I think it's worth just looking in, which because you guys have better. I'm $1,600 scope guy, you know, like, so the Zeiss and these other scopes I've never had a scope in that price point. These guys who shoot.
The biggest thing is don't look through them. Don't look through them unless you have the money.
It's a one-way ladder. Yeah, because you never go
down. You don't
down.
know what you don't know.
Yeah.
That is my saying.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I gave Kenny credit for when I first met him, and I remember meeting him at the IB88 and John Mullally with KB32 Tactical, he said, you guys would get along because y'all talk this long range stuff. And I remember looking at his channel. I'm like, man, this guy does a lot of stuff with these lower end scopes, which
long
it
range
works.
stuff.
He does a lot of long range stuff. And Kenny was completely happy with it. Well, unfortunately, he met us, and then he started, you know, one way or another. I'm not saying it's us that did it, but he started getting into these higher end scopes. And look, I've never looked through that Torque. I've looked through other ones.
Yeah,
I've never looked through yours. That could look perfect to somebody that doesn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
Where I noticed the difference was when I worked as a sniper, my job was to live in that scope. So when you're looking through a scope for 4 or 5 hours, nonstop.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, literally, the only thing you're doing is you're kind of looking away and you're looking back through. You know, you're not moving around, taking a walk, grabbing a cigarette, anything like that. This is where you're going to notice the difference in glass quality.
Yeah. With
the eye strain, the headaches, everything else. So at the time, I was running Schmidt and Benders when I felt they were still good. Okay, I have a lot of opinions about the newer Schmidts. Look, I talk about it the way it is with my personal experience.
Yeah.
Now, it's a sample of 1 or maybe 5, but like even like the Tangent Thetas, I have a couple of those now. I don't know if that buck is worth the bang. It's nice being able to, you know, toolless re-zero the turrets. It's a great scope. I know it's robust, but is it worth that $5,000 as opposed to an ATACer that you can get for, you know, 35, 38, depending on who you are, whatever. There's just so many great offerings. The Vortex, I think, is a great scope. I have a bunch of them. I've shot them a lot in every type of discipline, you know, whether it was 3-gun competition or, you know, even the Gen 2s, the Razor Gen 2s. I can't tell you I'm at the 1 to 6s. Now I actually run a 1 to 10 for that with 3-gun, but everybody has had to step up their game.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if some of the crazy high-end ones are worth it. But where you're going to notice the difference is you got to get into that 2,500 to 3,500 is that next level when you get above that 1,500 to 2,000.
Yeah.
You can't make a $400 jump. It's like another $1,000.
Yeah.
Well, what's crazy too is you did a video on it. There's things called coatings.
Yeah.
And so you can have the same piece of glass, but now go take it into Wyoming snow or you know, all these different type of environmental factors, and that's when stuff starts going to shit.
Well, that's when you hear people trying to compare a $800 Japanese glass optic to a $2,000 Japanese glass optic, and they're both Japanese glass. Well, they're night and day. But I think overall the market, like we live in, like I think this is a good time to be looking at scope speeds. everybody, like Ray said earlier, everybody's making a quality scope.
Yeah.
And if your price point is $1,600, you can very easily find a great scope in that. If it's $2,500, you're going to find a better scope in that. It's not, the Zeiss that sells for 24 is better than the Track that sells for 1,600. The Track that sells for 1,600 is better than the Aries that sells for 1,000. It's just a matter of fact. It's not opinion. And just the price goes towards thing. I don't think there's really anybody blatantly just ripping people off right now. Maybe you might know a few.
It's not just glass quality, guys. It's also the internal components.
Yeah, made of certain.
It might be repeatable now, but is it repeatable, 3 years from now? Because like with precision, with rimfire stuff, guys, you're not just dialing out to 7 or 8 mils because you're shooting out to 1,000 yards. You're literally working these scopes to 25 mils if you're going out to 500 or so, and then holding some, and then you're running it back down to 0. So you're just constantly zipping these things back
and then
forth.
maybe back up, and then maybe back down.
I think we're the hardest on.
Oh,
we are
yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nobody
No
that
doubt
dials more than.
Yeah.
Now, I've taught a
Rimfire.
lot of long range courses. I've seen pretty much every scope go down, from brand new Leopolds to you name it. I've seen it. There's one company, and I have a lot of their scopes. I've seen a lot of their scopes, and I want you guys to chime in. I have yet, personally, to see or have a Night Force go down on me. I've had 0 issues with any Night Force. Whether it was the 1-8s, the ATACR, the NX8s, the ATACR 7-35s, and there's another part of stuff that I don't really talk about on the channel, but I acquire a lot of scopes for certain individuals, and like Rick can tell you, like my office has probably got 20 empty boxes of Night Force attackers.
That's a fact.
The facts. 0 go down.
Yeah.
I have yet. Now, I'm sure it happens, but their QC, kind of like, Vortex and everybody else, their QC is just spot on. I'm a huge Night Force guy. I have no connection with the company whatsoever, but they do make a great scope.
Good quality stuff.
Yeah.
What's up, Chris Beck?
But when you step down to like an NX8, the 2.5 to 20, which is actually what I ran when I shot with Kenny, you can see a big difference between an NX8 and an ATACR.
Yeah.
If you know what to look for, there's a huge difference.
And
that's why there's 2 different lines.
Money costs.
And then you've got the SHV line. Yeah, it wouldn't be fair to compare a Vortex Gen 3 Razor to a Vortex 1-8 Strike Eagle. While that Strike Eagle fits that purpose, it's not going to be the 1-10 Gen 3 HD. It's the quality in the glass. It's the tracking, the repeatability. All of it matters.
There's a reason why there's more cost, especially within the same company, right? This one's really expensive and this one's not. There's a difference of lots of stuff.
Well, you know what? I've never met anybody who spent good money on a name brand, quality brand. I've never met anybody who spent a lot of money on a quality brand optic that was like, damn, I wish I'd have got the Strike Eagle instead. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like,
life learning. This is a life lesson you need to all remember. If you get a really good scope, let's say you get you a Night Force or ZCO or your Vortex.
This is a good
When you sell that rifle, do not sell the scope with it.
No.
Keep the scope. I made that mistake years ago, and there were certain scopes I wish I still had, because you're going to use that on a newer platform. There's some other stuff that's going to come up. If you sell your rifle, some people never sell their guns. There's a lot that kind of come and go, but yeah, just keep your scopes. And somebody said here, some of your best, hunting guides in the mountains of New Zealand, Kazakhstan, Europe have the most expensive German and Austrian spotting scopes. And you got to think about a company that's established like Zeiss. Okay, Zeiss is not some little optics company. Zeiss is one of the largest optics companies in the world. I'm not going to say they don't care about their hunting scopes, but they do so much more with metrology equipment, being, your coordinate measurement machines, everything from ophthalmology equipment to glasses. And this is where all these coatings came from. You're talking about a company that's rich with history. Scopes are a small part of their business, but they know optics.
They know glass.
There's a good one.
Yeah.
Redneck, I thought you left. You came back in to stir the pot. Spicy questions.
Remax. We never talked about the rifle.
To me, there should be a line in the middle of that. It should be Voodoo or Remex, Bergara or CZ. Because it's not. It's apples to oranges.
Let's do the line.
Yeah, there you go.
So between the Bergara and the CZ, I would pick the CZ. What about
CZ?
CZ all day long.
Okay, so there's that answer.
That's easy.
This
one's
one's
spicier.
This one's gonna be spicier.
Oh, I got to be careful because okay, so
I like them, but
no, I've had a lot of Bergaras. I have a
we're still
BXR.
with CZ.
I have a BXR that doesn't work. Okay, I won it, and then I won 2 other ones. I hate to say it, Kenny. I actually gave them to Kenny. I was like, here you go. Have a good time, buddy.
Yeah,
I said, work on them, do whatever.
I won one and traded it for ammo.
Yeah,
that's a good trade.
and it's not that Bergara is a bad rifle. It's just it's just not my preference. I would choose CZ.
Yeah.
Now Rimex Voodoo, I'm going to tell you where I'm at right now. I'm Voodoo right now, but I have a Rimex.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple Voodoos, and I think there are some things about the Rimex that I don't care for, but there's some things about the Voodoo I don't care for.
Yeah,
And
that's the same way.
It's a good take.
Before we move on to that, day range CZ Bergara. From my perspective, the Bergara I think does have good barrels. It's a 700 action. So if you're looking for a trainer, no brainer. The problem is the Bergara I don't think spend enough time at the factory getting the bolts worked out. I think the bolt timing is an issue. And the CZ
in the metallurgy,
the CZ is just like, I would just say the CZ is the most reliable rimfire I've ever shot in my life.
Yeah.
In that price line, there's others, but as for me in a comp, like I have never had a CZ fail on me.
The only thing I
That
just
was
can't
crazy.
get over that stupid little magazine.
Yeah, but you can put a whole match full.
I know you can put a whole.
Why does that magazine matter to you? That's like
It's
all
just
that matters.
something. It's just something about
It's
that.
all-
It is one of the most reliable feeding systems out there.
Yeah.
So I will tell
agree.
you,
It actually works.
through all the Rimexes,
Unlike
which I've had a
some of
couple
them.
of them now, I've had like 3 broken extractors. You can't get it. You can't jam it. Matter of fact, this guy right here carries a tool that he made so that if he has that happen, he can pull it out of his little scope thing so that he can pull this shell
There's
out
one
of here.
time I needed to use it, and guess what? That tool didn't work.
Okay, so
I was like, son of a.
So I was at a match. I take my knife. I get one stuck in there, and I broke the tip off my blade trying to get this thing out of the match. And it was a down point for me with the Rimex because that just shuts you down. But at the same time, Voodoos had their magazine issues, which they finally addressed. I think we've got some mags coming. I know I've got one coming that'll be here very soon. So we'll try that. But it also took Kenny working some magic to be able to get that to where it's at right now too.
Yeah.
It was rebarreled and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely the Rimex. You're going to start off action only anyway.
Yeah.
So you're kind of in that thing of like you're going to get built how you want. Yeah, I think Voodoo is starting to sell action only to certain people, but I mean, I'm in the same exact boat. I actually think I really enjoy like the feel and the construction of the bolt of the Rimex. I think
So do I.
it feels very nice, but I don't like the fact that
And the magazines are amazing.
the mag is the best mag.
There's
in the
no
game.
other magazine in the world.
It's the best mag in the
right
game.
now.
But it's just the fact that the extractor by design is the Achilles heel, just like the Voodoo is the mags, So I think once the Voodoo mag issue's resolved, then you've got a
win-win.
I know. That's why I got one downstairs.
Yeah.
It's been waiting
I've
like
got
2
two,
years.
and I would still shoot the Rimex. I think it's a great rifle too. It's kind of like picking. I see. I think it was Redneck. He was saying back on the Bergara CZ, he's got a decked out CZ and his Bergara outshot it. What most people I think
it is
don't
about the shooting.
don't do well. That even if that to the side, when you buy CZs, Bergaras, you're buying production rifles. You're playing a barrel lottery. Somebody's going to get a outstanding. You're paying the extra money to be percentage up in the lottery.
You're getting a Tuesday.
I can take any Bergara B14R and find the ammo and make it shoot and make it appear to shoot better than any other rifle. Because you can find the ammo that works, but it's a lottery thing. You've got to look at the platform. What you like. Is this platform more reliable? Does this platform bolt handle break off? Maybe that's a problem for you. But they're all good.
They at the range wanted to know why. He was like, why?
Why? Yeah.
The bolt. Yeah, and then somebody else said they gave away their CZ.
I wish to me.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, the Bergara, the bolt close is pretty tough,
terrible.
and it shifts your whole rifle.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Kenny can work those, but what I don't like is that
the bolt,
there shouldn't be tension on the bolt close. That means you're still, for some reason,
you're squishing,
cocking everything, and that just to me feels like they're just not designing that right. I don't know why I feel like that, but
I love the action of the Voodoo and the Rimex.
So the HS, he says his Rimex is at 8,500 rounds, has had to replace 3 extractors and 1 firing pin spring. So going well so far. I don't think that's
no.
8,500. Now look, we don't want to make this sound crazy, but 8,500 rounds when you're going to match after match after match, that's nothing.
That's almost 3. No,
Yeah. And if those 3
almost 2
extractors
cases
broke,
ammo.
that's 3 matches where you probably had $500 to $1,000 in that weekend on getting there with the fuel. Because we're not going next door. We're, if you're traveling to do these matches, you've got the fuel costs, you've got everything associated with that, and that weekend's gone.
Here's the problem, though. So you got to go back a step. So like you said, it's basically you're buying an action for Rimex, and then you're either buying some type of supposedly pre-fit, which could be total shit, or you can have the option of having a guy. Hopefully, he's a good gunsmith too. What I notice, because I see a lot of guys shooting everything, but I'll talk to a lot of the Rimex guys just to see what they got rolling, and then I say, hey, did you put a pre-fit on there, or did you get a guy to? Yeah. So I think a lot of the issues with that is pre-fits.
Yeah.
Because, you're just hoping it's right.
Yeah.
And then you got guys that maybe it's chambered wrong, so now they're jamming this shit in here. Well, then there's your broken extractor. You can't.
Oh. And so Rimex has got a bad name from pre-fits because when they came out, everybody was pre-fit this, pre-fit that, and they got crap ones. But I think if you look action to action, and we're being like
just action.
Since I feel like we're all being like totally open honest, I have talked to those, and I'm not dogging.
It's because we're old, we don't care.
I'm not dogging
I could die
anybody.
tomorrow.
I've talked to both people, Zermatt Arms, and I've talked to Voodoo,
Yep.
and neither one of them was under the premise of, hey, I'm a YouTuber, this, that, and the other. If I called Voodoo once because I had a used rifle and it had a crack in the firing pin. It wasn't hurting anything, but I was going to get the heavier firing pin spring for Ely. I told them, and they just sent me.
Boom.
They're great.
When I called Zermatt Arms and I said, hey, I'm going to be messing around with this rifle and stuff, the answer was, I recommend you go buy the parts kit. So when I call Voodoo, it's not, and I know not everybody has a good experience with every company, but Voodoo's response is, we will fix it.
We'll
it
send
seemed
it out
like
to you.
Zermatt Arms
I had
buy
the same
a parts kit. And
Yeah.
it's just like, why do I have a $2,000 rifle? I have to buy spare parts.
Voodoo is amazing when it comes out because I told him, I said I switched to Ely. I switched to Ely, and I'm having basically some issues with it loading because it's a Voodoo, and then I'm running Ely, so I'm having sometimes the firing pin isn't hard enough. They're like, hey, we'll send that out right away.
Yeah.
I mean, they are top notch.
Well, I didn't know the lady who answered because I talked to, I think, Greg over there at one point, and I was like, yeah, man, whoever the lady is that answers the phone, like, just pass down that, like,
she's awesome.
Yeah, keep her around. And he's like, she's the owner, dude. And I'm like, oh. So that's like the owner who calls up and is like, yeah, we'll make it right. So
that's like Lisa at MPA.
Yeah.
Like, nicest lady you'll ever talk to.
Yeah.
And she'll get it addressed and get it taken care of. But no, Charles Beck said after 40,000 rounds of my Voodoo, I had to replace the firing pin and spring. And, he's a serious competitor, great shooter.
He's all right.
Okay. But yeah, I mean,
he's
the
laughing.
Voodoo just seems to work.
Yeah. I really do. I own the Rimex. The video comes out Friday. I've had it for like, I don't know, 3 weeks now, 4 weeks. I enjoy shooting it. I do like shooting it, but I want in my head.
Which one?
The Rimex.
Oh.
In my head, when I'm shooting it and I accidentally dry fired, I'm like, is that the end of it? Like,
that's the thing I don't like about it. Where the Voodoo comes in is I could sit there and practice dry firing all day long.
Yeah.
You could take the firing pin.
So I'm ordering a parts kit and like probably Monday, and they're gonna know anyway. I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna dry fire my Rimex to see how many times I dry fire until it breaks.
You're gonna ruin the barrels. What you're gonna ruin?
No,
I did that with a torture test, the 200-round torture test. After
did you?
I got it from Kenny, because I had that extractor go down on it, and then sure enough, we looked at it and the thing was chipped, and apparently it was one of the first runs, so it wasn't one of the
extractor, right?
Yeah. And then we actually replaced it when Kenny flew down, and it chipped again.
Mm-hmm.
And so we put another one in. So during that weekend, getting ready for that match, I think it was his first Rimfire match ever. Yeah, we went through 3 extractors. Yep.
On the old ones, the old design, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, he had brought some new ones with him, yeah.
I can tell you, like, I had, and always say finicky, you know, and Kenny knows this because I had to ask him. I don't know anything about Rimexes.
Yeah.
I didn't see it till I saw slow-mo when I was editing and stuff. I had rounds that were ejecting from the top of the next round halfway through because I was getting like, it was ejecting, but it was weak.
Yeah.
It was noticeably weaker. I saw in slow-mo, the bolt would come back and it would hit the round and would get halfway down the round and it would just kind of,
Yeah, if it doesn't go out here,
so I
with this
loosened it because I'm so used to a Voodoo.
Yeah.
I would take the slop out. The Rimex, you want to have a little
Well,
slop in there.
for
Yeah,
sure.
so it was my fault, you know, but it was just, you know, differences and but yeah, the mag's pretty
Well, that
awesome.
depends on the shooter too. Some guys run their bolt super slow, or it just
He-
it kind of limp dicks in there and just
Damn, you
falls
shoot
down.
better than Josh.
Josh Power said, y'all's $4,000 rifle war stories is doing a good job of keeping me on 457.
I always said this is real.
To get into precision rimfire,
Yeah.
get you a CZ 457.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think you'll be fine.
It'll shoot better than
To start.
Well, I think somebody sent
Or to
Kenny a
finish.
picture because he said just got it. So Joe, I think he must have built Joe a rifle, and Kenny took that thing to say, you know, hey, look, man, I just do. Nobody said I was a great shooter. It just said I'm smart enough to pull the trigger. That was my only qualifications going into
Let's see
YouTube.
3C just shoot off.
That's dangerous for everybody.
Well, hopefully we all do Elijah's test.
Yeah, I didn't know because he didn't send me the email. I feel kind of excluded.
No, but he called you
just
out by name.
Oh, he did? Oh, I didn't see the video.
Remember the bag?
Yeah, so if you
He's
didn't
like,
notice this
shooting off the
beautiful, young-looking face, I went to drill, so I left my house at like 4 something. I went and, you know, stood around and did Army stuff, and then I drove to Chris's house and dropped off something for him, and then drove here. So I haven't watched any YouTube today because it's been like a nonstop day that I get to repeat tomorrow when I leave here at like 4:45.
I edited last night till 2 a.m. and then jumped on it again today because I'm trying to get this one video out before I go out of town. But yeah, here lately it's been a lot of
He
editing.
said, but yes, it could be. Yeah, I'm just talking junk. I haven't even checked half my email. My wife was actually texting me. That's why I stepped out because I realized I hadn't called her in like 10 or 12 hours. Or because, yeah, it's been a day. So, yeah, I'm just messing with you, Elijah. I look forward to shooting it. It sounds like a good time.
All right, we've been yapping for 2 hours.
I know.
Anything
You
else?
didn't even get to your list.
Well, we did kind of favorite
Kind of.
here. We did.
All right, let's do this quick. It's going to be like hot, quick stuff.
Hot.
Favorite bag?
Oh,
Medium game changer for me.
bite
too.
size game changer.
All right. Favorite plate if you use one?
Gray Alps.
Gray Alps.
Okay, we all use the same thing. We finally found something.
Favorite bipod.
Mm.
That's a good one.
If I'm
I
Should
shooting,
be
know
a
yours.
tough one.
Atlas for me, yeah.
if I'm
Oh,
yeah,
you don't know mine. What is mine?
No, I said Atlas.
Oh, Atlas.
I know what yours is. Yours is a Thunder Beast.
I always take 2 bipods to every match.
Mine's a Sky
It's
Pod
gonna be a
unless I'm
Sky Pod
shooting just
and a Thunder
groups.
Beast.
If I'm
So I
shooting,
haven't shot the Sky Pod.
if I'm shooting just
I haven't taken
groups,
this one.
My Sky Pod's broke, by the way.
if I'm shooting just
So like,
groups,
whoop, it just came right off. Can't
It's-
get it back in.
it's the Atlas. What else are we missing?
Um,
You guys all running Kestrels?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Binos. I
Binos?
use the SIGs.
I use the Vortex Furies.
I'm taking donations for either.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you using
I don't
a
have
tripod?
binos.
Are you using a tripod?
No, well, laser range finding binos, and I can't tell you how many times I found errors in target distances.
Yeah.
I always recommend having a set of those. As far as a spotting scope,
Single pull.
Loophole Mark IV compact.
Oh, was
I
your a
hate
double
this
that broke
thing.
or a single?
It's a double pull. It
Yeah,
broke.
his double pull broke.
Yeah.
I run mostly a single. I have a double as well, but I didn't break it, but I don't use it as much.
It hurts me to say that the Vortex Recon is like my little Rimfire spotting scope, little mill reticle in it. Now, I do want to get rid of it and get range finding binos. I just haven't made the plunge yet. But and then I'm not a big Vortex fan, but that little Vortex Recon, like it's like falling out of my car going down the road.
Tough
Yeah.
stuff.
I got a question. You just said I'm not a big Vortex fan.
No.
Why? What is that based
You
on?
know what killed me on the Vortex is I actually owned a lot of Vortex. So a lot of guys, like a lot of people, I had like a Crossfire, and I was happy with them because you don't know what you don't know. Totally fine. The Diamond Crap Tactical just just pissed me off. Like, and I just hated it, and it just turned me off of it. And you know what? It's not. Like and I've said this openly. It's not that I don't like Vortex. I think what I don't like is when people are biased to something, and then they take that bias and they just go tell everybody else. Because I think a lot of us say, look in this whole price range and see what you like. A lot of guys are going to go, VIP warranty, go buy Vortex. Why would you buy anything else? Well, everybody in the optics game has a good warranty. The VIP is good because you can literally shoot stuff. But why would you blindly can someone into like, you know,
here's where the Diamondback fails. The Diamondback fails in my mind is I suck at math.
The diamond crap. Yeah, because it's
when I turn the turret, I cannot keep the numbers straight.
If it's not a 10, if it's not a 10, you can't do it.
If it ain't a 10,
I don't. That's what I don't like about it either.
I'll be turning, I'll be 8, and then I'll be
2 revs.
When you see me like this, 8, 9, 10. When I'm like this at a match, this is bad. I'm like, holy shit! What am I?
Here's where it sucks. I was at VOD. I was down like 17 mils, right? And I look up and I'm like running out of time. Next target distance tells me to dial like 22, right? I look up 18, and the 19, turret says
22.
It says 1, and I'm like 1, 17, 1, beep. I'm done. It just makes no sense.
That is tough.
I don't.
So for that kind of stuff, it's not good.
Oh, I just remembered something. Someone asked me if I had the LRA mounts. If you go online to the website, if it shows in stock, I have it. I know we have some 90-degree mounts, but I don't know if they're spur mounts or if they're LRA brand, because I do have the MV3s in stock. I always have those in stock.
Don't get the spur unless you have a spur, because it won't fit on shit.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Day at the range brings up. I've heard a lot of that, the bench rest guys. So like, look, and you know, I shoot Ely. I am on Team Ely. So when I go to a competition, I shoot Ely. But the thing is, ammo does this. You know what I mean? The market does this. Like with everything else, like, you know, and we shoot different things than the test barrels are being tested in the UK. Don't exactly mean they're going to be good for our barrels.
Yeah.
And Lapua will go up where the bench rest guys will use Lapua for like a year, and then they'll go away and they'll be using Ely for like a year, and then they'll
even when their shirt says Lapua on it.
I know shooters that shoot the other brand.
Yeah,
it all depends on the lot.
It happens all the time.
But I would say ammo goes up and down. I shoot Ely because we shoot a different game, and I like the consistent SPs and the bullet color.
What's the reasons why we like certain Ely bullets?
I like it. I think the EPS style bullets a little bit better BC for downrange. It's a little more consistent for me SD wise, and it's silver, and I can see it better in air.
There's a huge difference between a Center X bullet, which shoots great.
There's nothing wrong with it.
But when the sun is behind you, you can, not all the time, you can spot your bullet a lot easier.
The conditions have to be there.
They have to be there, but you get a lot better chance of spotting your miss or hit.
Now, have you pulled 2 bullets to look at the back to see if it's any different?
You know what's interesting? I will say, I put a barrel at 94 yards. And
barrel?
Well, I saw that where you shot into it.
If you notice, the SK bullet doesn't do anything in the barrel, and the Ely bullet, for whatever reason, expands almost 90% of the entire length of the bullet, expands to the rifling. Like the driving band and all that behind it, the heel, that bullet goes like this, and it retains its EPS point and expands to the barrel. The SK bullet did not. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. It's just unique.
But this statement about spotting your bullet, and you're saying the conditions have to be right. Well, you can do that with a 45 and a 9mm and a 223.
Yeah.
And I'd be careful making a blanket statement that you can see it. Unless it's got a different back color, why could you?
It's silver. It's silver.
It's silver.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody pulled it.
So, and I stumbled on this. I was shooting at a local place. We do like a falling steel match, and it was a fun shoot day. And I had my Voodoo, and I had not Lapua, but SK. And I had Ely ammo, and I was shooting at a 150-yard plate, and I was sitting there with another guy, and he was spotting for me. And all of a sudden, I was shooting, not paying attention. And all of a sudden, he starts saying, "Oh, I can see that's crazy. I can see that. I can see that, and I can see that," because the lighting was behind us, so it was reflecting on the bullet. And then when I shot, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I just happened to be shooting the other ammo. He's like, "Oh, I can't see it." And then I started looking for it, and once I started looking for it, if the lighting is present, it is way easier for whatever reason.
So if you pull a Ely and you pull a Lapua, the Ely's going to have a more polished back or silver?
It's silver, like bright silver.
And the
Lapua is black.
Yeah, it's straight up black.
Oh, fudge.
I'd say
Oh, that don't matter. It's my show.
Yeah.
it kills werewolves. Yeah.
I don't know if we're still rolling or not.
Yeah.
Does it say live?
Yeah, we're live. 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Something.
78 watching. We're good.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Are we still live, people?
Someone asked about the SIGs, and my SIGs are holding up great, and they've been. I don't want
They're
to
great.
make it sound like a HK commercial, but the hell and back. I mean, those things have been dropped. They've fallen off tripods on the rocks. They have held up, and it's a great. Somebody told me there's a trade-up program.
I read that.
Yeah.
I got a lot of comments because people are seeing old videos when I did the Furies versus the kilos.
Yeah.
But there was no 10 out at the time. They're like, oh, you didn't do it against the 10.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, dumbass?
It's an old video.
It's an old video.
Yeah. I've got videos shooting 2 different guns at 50 yards, and people complain it wasn't the same scope, and I'm just like, it's 50 yards. Like, it's a scope, and it has certain close magnification range, and they're like, well, you shot that one off this bag, and I was like, it's 50 yards.
Yeah.
Another question. Break out the pitchforks. Everyone else stuff seems to love Ely, but
That was talking about the bench rest.
rare on the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a tide wave of ammo comes in and out for the bench rest guys.
They at the range. So you got that funky ass ninja thing with the wheel on it, and then you got all these bags. Why don't you run I guess maybe some of your rifles don't have like a way to attach a bipod or something.
Yeah. Those are really steady though. I mean, you can really but it's just none of us bench shoot, so it's not.
Yeah,
really,
that's the thing. We don't bench shoot.
Yep.
Well, this guy does, but he doesn't sit. He stands or something.
What?
That's how you zero your rifles.
Yeah.
He
I
sets
don't
them on a
sit.
bench.
I don't like
He
sitting.
doesn't sit. He leans into them
and
and
stands.
Yeah,
and shoots
so
it.
I stand
he benches, but
Yeah.
Because-
sometimes
I mean, I bench for
because we
for
actually
YouTube,
do that.
I guess.
Yeah, you do that a lot.
On
Well,
YouTube,
yeah.
that's all the videos are on the bench because you get so many comments. Like no matter what you do, I would put a scope cam on just to show like my reticle is there, the gun goes off, the bullet goes there. If it doesn't go there, it's the combination. And then people complained about the scope cam footage and wanted the downrange target cam.
yeah, and you got
So then I added both, and then it was too busy. So then I went back to the target camera, and then nobody. So I just leave it on the bench because I'm just like that seems to raise the least amount of questions about,
I didn't build him a tunnel of shooting.
Talking about SIG, what about the SIG Cross? If you're talking about the little mini bolt gun, I think it has a lot of really cool features. It's very minimalistic. I think it would be a great hunting rifle. Actually was going to purchase one about a month ago. That's where it sits. You don't see them at matches or anything like that. I think it has a different purpose, but I think it's a cool. If you're going to be a hunter and you want something lighter weight, I think it's a good rifle.
The class 4 Hurricane. Oh no, tree filler.
Yeah, he's
Maybe he's just using
He's on
excuses.
straight.
Don't tell everybody about my excuses. I got
That's
the
right.
best excuses in the game.
And if you haven't seen Pursuit of Accuracy, he starts off every channel with, "Yeah, it's really windy outside."
Oh, it's worse at a
All I
match.
do is I got shitty. Oh God, it doesn't stop.
You know, I've tried to purposely, I tried to not even, because I realized, and the thing is I didn't realize it was coming across as excuses because I go into depth to talk about the gun, the scope, the ammunition, why I picked the thing. So I feel like it's pertinent to say these are the conditions for that I'm shooting in right now, because if it shoots
matters.
less than
It
ideal,
does matter.
but I just kind of quit now because it's just reality. Like, I don't care that the gun I'm not going to shoot in competition shot a 0.5. People don't seem, I don't care how the gun performs. I'd rather if it sucks, because my competition gun is totally different than the gun I'm shooting on YouTube to demonstrate or to show it off. Like Ruger or CZ ain't paying me nothing.
Best
Those guys
caliber
don't
for
know
PRS Centerfire. Oh God,
No, I was
something with a 6.
It starts with a 6.
That's all you need
Yeah.
to know. And somebody's going to say, well, tell Morgan King this because he shoots a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah.
Well, he goes back and forth.
Hey,
but,
it's got a 6.
it's got a 6 in it. There you go.
Well, and I would say, and I almost said something earlier, and I'm not trying to be negative, but to base a decision or a feeling about an op based on what a pro level shooter is using is not the best metric, because there's something else in it for them, and you can be dang sure that if he's a pro level shooter, there's not a thing wrong with what he's shooting. So to say, well, tell that to him who's got a hand-picked one there, or maybe it's not even hand-picked, but he's a pro shooter for them. It's not, talk to Jim and Bob who bought it.
Well,
and shot
and
it,
it could be like, maybe they're shooting a barrel burner, but guess what? They got 15 of them in their garage.
Yeah.
Waiting for the next.
Maybe you got Kenny I on speed dial, and he owes you favors because you've got some weird pictures of him in college, and you got 6 Tiger barrels out the wazoo.
Speed dial.
Yeah, burn them barrels up.
Burn them up.
Yeah, it don't matter.
We need more channels like y'all to show all the groups. Not just put cherry pick ones.
Well, I think the biggest thing is and I think I can say, I know for sure, not safe, I'm sure here, is that nobody here cares. Like if a group looks like crap. If I shoot a gun and it shoots like 10 MOA.
It's what it is.
Yeah, I don't care.
And I know where Kenny's going with this because we had this conversation. Guys, with my rifle shoots .2s all day long.
Yeah.
Well, they shot 50 groups. They hand selected the 3 they wanted to show you. And, maybe the planets all aligned perfectly and everything else, but show the whole picture.
Yeah.
I think realistically a good measure, and I was telling Kenny this, I was like, you want to tell me your rifle shoots .3s, your rimfire? Well, shoot 100 rounds, and let's look at where it all went. You got to include the flyers and everything else.
Yeah,
I guarantee it's not going to be a .3.
Yeah, no, across 100 rounds, there's no way.
Yeah, you got to.
Yes,
which is why
that's the thing. And when you get into averages and statistics, now we're kind of going down that Litz path, but that's what truly it is.
Oh yeah,
you got to do big.
That's somebody called me outside the new FX air gun that I shot. I did 5-shot groups. That's just what we typically shoot. It's not like. I don't think the gun could put the 6 round there. I just shoot 5. So somebody says it. So I did a 10-shot group.
Yeah, because 3,
I don't care.
3 was not a standard anymore. Now it's 5. Now it's moved to 10.
Yeah, now it's 10.
Soon it'll be
pretty
30.
soon, you'll have to shoot a box of ammo.
Yeah, I want a 50-round group. You better, this thing will shoot.
You better send me some money.
All right, guys, we got a case of SK long range match. We're going to shoot
3,000 rounds.
Yeah.
That's right.
All my footage is real. No cherry picking. I mean, it's people pick up on that pretty easily. Like you can think you're being slick or whatever or not. People can see when you're transparent and honest. It's easier. And they value that more. I mean,
matter of fact, we make it a point when we're trying to do videos to try not to cut any of the shooting footage.
Yeah.
Because any breaks, you're going to see it. Now, sometimes you have to because this camera ran out of memory or what happened to me yesterday. I was trying to do the subgun video and my camera's flashing. I'm like, crap. And so I was like, Rick, I need to borrow your SD card, So, things like that happen. For the most part, we try to keep continuous footage going so nobody can question that. But it doesn't matter. If they want to question it, whatever.
Yeah.
It's when you see a pile of brass right here.
It's the first shot.
Yeah. This barrel's cold, so I'm going to go ahead and warm it up.
The funny thing is I've become cognizant of that recently because
now you go like this.
I will go out and shoot. Maybe I'll test the Voodoo with a new lot of ammo, and then maybe I'll grab the Rim-X and I'll shoot it, and then maybe I'll grab the CZ, and then maybe I'm like, and there's a pile of brass, and I'm just like, but everybody questions everything because,
Oh, it's because they can.
Yeah.
And then the people that are your buddies are just being dicks because they want to be.
Yeah.
Hey, that was my saying. I said 3 shots is not a group. That's friends getting together.
Yeah. It is a slippery slope, though, like how far do we keep progressing?
It's 10.
I think 10 is good because you should maybe shoot 10 rounds on average in the stage. So to me, that's how I justify. Okay, 10's a good. 10's a good. Let's hear about your sporting clays. No, I shot sporting clays one time with my buddy John, and it was trash. I suck.
Did you watch our video on the sporting clays?
Yeah, I'm glad
we got our ass.
That was so bad, and I already knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know it was going to be that bad.
The guy we got beat by, well, lots of guys we got beat by.
Was the
guy that won, and I think it was like 3.
Oh yeah, 3 clays
out of 100. But the guy's there every 2 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. Like we were talking about way earlier. The guys who are good at it. That's the thing. You can have a lot of fun doing it, or you can be really effing good at it. And so they can mix. You can commingle those and have fun. But the guy who's really good up here, he's working his butt off. So you got to make a decision. Do I want to have a lot of fun, or do I want to be the best?
Fun.
Yeah, it's
being the best is a lot of fun. I mean, I wouldn't know, but Chris Simmons told me it was. I tend to believe him. So
there you go. All right.
Z challenge. Yeah.
Got to be able to shoot moving targets. We shoot moving targets at pretty much all the matches.
Hey, if you guys get a chance,
it's actually easy.
Go over today at the range, check out a Z challenge.
I do suck at that.
And have some fun with that for sure. We'll probably have to do it after SHOT Show because he's leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to drive out to VOD for the Z challenge, but
Yeah.
so I might not shoot it till we get back. No time to travel in my life right now, being on call 24/7. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. There's actually quite a few of you still watching.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to myself or to Pursuit of Accuracy
Where do you see
or
how
the
many are watching?
answering, what?
Where do you see how many are watching? Up there?
Top left, 82.
Oh, way up there. I can't see it.
Yeah.
Please get over and subscribe. I could definitely use the subscribers along with these guys for sure. And other than that, be
This was
safe,
fun.
have fun. It was fun.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was like catching up, man. We haven't done this in a while.
See, the best part was when we used to shoot matches together all the time. We got our shit talking in.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to do that.
We're very competitive against each other. in
Oh,
matches.
yeah. And it was
I will
weird.
admit, I care where he finishes, and I want him to be behind me every match we
Yeah.
shoot. I'm sure he feels the same way.
It's like I don't care how I do as long as I beat that guy.
Yeah, we talk like ultimate
See,
jump.
you know, I don't know if I've ever. I don't go to a match with that in mind.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, I go
don't-
to a match every match with that in mind.
I know you
Not-
do.
not
And there are
here.
certain people that you specifically call out.
Yes.
Even if I
I'm
don't
the
go to a
same,
match, he
yeah.
goes, I'm going to beat so and so. I've never, I can honestly say, I don't think I've ever been to a competition
Tank
where I
Frank.
said, I'm going to beat this guy.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's about me and how I do in the match.
Yeah, which is a way better outlook. Like
That is better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
along with that, there's some things that need to take place. And that's, I want to beat that guy and I want to beat this guy.
But why?
Because then
Because
then I can
call the
shit
guy
talk
out.
we like to talk junk. That's why.
Yeah, y'all guys do a lot of
We-
talking,
we
and
do,
I
yeah.
don't. When I
No,
go to
you
a
don't.
match,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
when I go to a match, it's.
Yeah.
let's
I
get
can
it
tell
done.
you're-
you're not there to have fun.
No, I'm there. You're right. I'm not. There are certain matches.
I'm not either, actually.
There are certain
Sometimes.
matches that I am there to have fun,
Yeah.
but
Three
when
guys.
I am truly there to have fun, like three gun, it is truly. They can tell I'm there to have fun.
Yeah, that's how
But
I
if
am
it's
with three guys.
anything bolt gun or anything like that, it's like no, I'm here to see how I can do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
All
and
right.
not have a train wreck.
Yeah,
Tree fella says he just goes for fun now.
that's probably the best way for you to tackle a tree fella.
Yeah, I've seen you shoot.
All
And
right.
I like talking smack about tree fight. All right, guys.
Uh,
Anything else before we get the heck out of here?
No, it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It's a
Real
good
quick, what's the video you got coming up?
Here in just a second, as soon as we get off this chat, I want to upload the Surefire Turbo series for the carbine. That light's not out yet, but we did some really cool tests and shot them out hundreds of yards. And so remember, on your lights, it's all about candela and not lumens.
I got a video coming out on the P365 X Macro. It's an updated review. People had some questions, so in that video, I tried answering it. And you got a video coming out Friday?
Knife
Friday.
check, Microtech. Somebody called for it. This is a Scarab 2 knife check. What you got?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Joe Bender asked for
All
it.
right, here we go. ADT by
I don't want
Give me
to.
You're a young'un, so
Give me
you're
the
probably
right.
carrying a Benchmade.
No. Remember when I told you I left in the bathroom
Oh,
with
yeah. He
I
left.
made a major mistake in it, but inside of there
It's
is actually
his knife.
What is
Well,
it?
That's it.
some
What
other
is
Which
things.
it?
one is it?
There's a handgun in there, but it's a
Not that,
Microtech.
dummy.
It's the mill. Me and my wife both bought them.
Oh, the LE knife, the Ultratech.
Yeah. So we both have an Ultratech. I got a serrated, and she got a non-serrated. But that's the nice
So
one.
black ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
Black ones. Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
But yeah, Friday Rimex review video. Kenny build, obviously. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, you guys. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Adios, muchachos.
Tex.
Yeah, Tex.
Yeah.
Howdy.
Hold on.
Oh, come on.